after like the first season with Monte, I felt really burnt out. I remember like I need to take a break, a few extra days, something like this. But you get used to it, like to everything. You just need to have right mentality for it. So, but I recommend new teams to grind the same as we do, or even more, if you want to get to the top.
Best esports odds, VIP program, and a variety of bonuses. Fast and easy withdrawals. Bet on every possible CSGO matching tournament, as well as any other esports game. Only on 22Bet.
Are you tired of your boring old skins and looking for beautiful new ones? Tradeit.gg is your place to go for easy and secure trades within seconds. Simply pick and choose whatever item you want to trade from Tradeit's huge inventory. Verify the trade on Steam, and you're ready. With the lowest fees in the market and a beautiful, easy-to-use UI, Tradeit also offers you the option to instantly sell your items for cash. We accept a wide variety of payment methods. Tradeit.gg is the go-to place whenever you want to try out fancy new skins. Start trading today at Tradeit.gg.
Oh, baby, we're back with a HLTV Confirmed episode. Welcome to another show brought to you by 22Bet and Tradeit.gg, the sponsors who make things possible, making Prof laugh before we even get started here. Prof, was that not my normal? It wasn't a normal intro. Did it catch you off guard a little bit?
I just, I think the delivery was pretty nice. Like the episode and then nothing and then just continuing. I think it was a new twist to a classic joke that you have.
Yeah, I like jokes. I'm pretty good at them sometimes. Sometimes people are laughing, but here isn't a joke, Prof. This week, Striker is here for the start of the show. So it is great to see him not having the cat doing death-defying stunts to entertain everybody at home. Striker, you look like you've had a fresh haircut, mate.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. But less than a week ago, a few days ago.
Okay, so still pretty fresh. Still pretty fresh.
He also had a massage today.
Yeah, it's true. My first massage.
Pampering himself.
Yes.
Wow. A first massage ever.
I mean, like a proper one, like a really proper one.
What's a really proper massage? You're going to have to expand right now.
I mean, it's just like from the actual strong guy who's just like really working on you and stuff like that.
Good with the hands.
It was very interesting.
Yeah, you worth it.
It honestly destroyed me. Like I came home and I was just like, I felt like I had a full day of workout or something, like, because that's how sore my muscles were for a moment.
You got your money's worth. You got your money's worth there. Now, look, we got Lucas pressing the 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s, but we need to introduce our guest for this evening, as everybody can see on the screen right here. It is going to be a guest who we've had on, well, a couple of times before. Starting to get a few repeat appearances from Mr. SDY. Thank you for joining us yet again.
Hello, guys.
That should be
nice to see you again here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Prof was like, yo, we need to get a player, and obviously Blast on right now, and he threw your name into the hat. It's always nice to hear from you. Now, look, you've played 0 officials in 2024 so far. That's pretty unusual for Monte, mate. You've been enjoying a bit of rest?
Yeah, actually, we had very long break between season. Like we started only at 18, I guess.
Okay.
And we got a lot of invites because of the ratings, and that's why.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, before we get too deep into this conversation, Lucas, roll the bumper and let's get into the hot seat. Feels like a while since we've done a hot seat, but that was essentially going to be my first question right there, SDY, talking about, well, the tournament break. Because, yeah, as you just mentioned, you've had a bit of time off. What have you been able to do with your time? Have you been playing CS with the time off? Did you take a couple of weeks where you completely just stepped away from the game and didn't touch the mouse and keyboard? What's the time being used for by you?
Yeah, actually, I did like almost 3 weeks break out of CS. I didn't play it at all, full reset. And I was feeling at home, I can say, because it's pretty hard right now in Ukraine. There is not a lot of places to have vacation, or either I cannot leave the country because of the war. And I was just chilling at home, playing games, enjoying time with my girlfriend, and things like this. And also went for a little trip, like 3 days to the mountains, Carpathian Mountains in Ukraine.
Okay. So did that recharge the batteries, right? Is that enough to get you after the 3 weeks going, shit, I want to get back in the server, I want to get grinding again? Or is there a little bit of, when everybody returns from the Christmas holidays, they'll be like, fuck, I got to go back to work?
Actually, I feel like I'm just, the moment that we start practice, I'm feeling like very chill and like complete player, and I don't feel like that I have much to gain.
Okay.
Nice. Is
All
this the
right.
first time you had such a long break in like forever? I feel like you've been playing from Spirit and always grinding, one of those teams that always had to grind to get to places and then going to NAVI and all of that. So what's the last time you had like a 2+ week break from CS?
Yeah, probably long ago. I think actually it was a needed break, not for me, but it was when the war started 2 years ago, when Mad Lions got they closed the CS roster, and I have to leave city, stay safe, and I didn't play for like 3 weeks also. But I used to grind like every day, a lot of deathmatch after Spirit even. So yeah.
Okay, so it's been a while and probably a long time coming. Now, look, this off time for a lot of people, we saw a lot of roster changes, but Monte didn't get involved in the nonsense. Was there any, maybe moments where was someone knocking on SDY's door with like, hey, you want to come join our team? Anything like that going on?
Actually, there was a lot of moments like this.
Okay.
And I'm gladly and happy can say that we figured it out for everybody, and we make it best as possible. So now we have a lot of invites, good tournaments incoming, RMR slot, and everybody is happy.
Okay, so the team stuck together. You managed to weather the storm of all the roster changes. And I think one of the key points you're making here is where you ended up in the rankings, and that's through some impressive performances throughout last year. So one of the things that I was noting for the tail end of Monte, you weren't at like necessarily the biggest events to close out the year, but you guys were at the ESL Challenger events, right?
Yeah.
You won one of them, if I remember rightly.
It was the MVP at it.
In Sweden. Yeah.
And then Atlanta was the last one to close out the year where you lost in, was it the semifinals to Apeks, I believe it was.
Yeah.
But those type of events, right, they don't get the same type of shine at the moment, SDY. But when you look at the names that are there, obviously VP being one of them, playing in Blast literally right now. How do you feel about this sentiment before I go the next step? But I feel like the best teams in the world aren't all just playing at these invite-only events. I feel like there's a couple of teams who, especially last year, kind of missed the boat on it with all this CS2 stuff, and you guys are maybe in that conversation. Do you feel that's the case? Like this tier 2, quote unquote, for like challenger events is maybe a little bit more competitive than that?
I think it's pretty simple, as you need to balance your playtime and your learning time. So, and the last half of the season we have this balance. We don't play that much as we used to because we already gain in rating. That's what you need to do when you start grinding hard, the grind. And after that, you have time to reset, to rethink your game, and to work on the mental parts. That's what we did. What we're doing right now. Like we approaching the game a bit different way, as individuals and as a team. And I think it will help us in the near future as well.
Do you have to adjust kind of how you approach these tournaments? Because as you say, like I don't know, even back like 6 months ago, you were still playing in all the CCTs. Like pretty much everything that you could play, you were playing, and you're always going far in them. So you're playing a lot of maps. I think somebody posted something crazy, like you had like 140 maps in 3 months at some point. Which is insane. Which was like early. It was like the first half of last year, I think, is when somebody was posting that. So I'm just curious about, like, now that you are more in the upper tournaments, you're getting all these invites, do you have to, was it difficult to kind of get adjusted to not having as many officials and like balancing that more with practice?
Personally, for me, I don't think so, because I had this experience already when I was in NAVI. We just practice to the tier 1 tournaments and we go for it. That's it. And for me, it was harder to adjust to playing much more than to not playing, And after like the first season with Monte, I felt really burnt out. I remember like I need to take a break, a few extra days, something like this. But you get used to it, like to everything. You just need to have right mentality for it. So, but I recommend new teams to grind the same as we do, or even more, if you want to get to the top.
Do you
I mean,
think
just
that's
to,
okay, go
yeah,
ahead.
I just wanted to mention the number because I just went for 2023 maps played, all teams. Monte is number one, 353 maps played.
So literally at least
almost
a map
one
a day,
map per day.
That's
and then
crazy.
After that, it's like Nexus, Sprout, Zero Tenacity, Sinners, Aurora, Eyeballers, and then Apeks is there. And then if for a top team, I think you need to go down to like, let's say Cloud9 186. So most of the top teams like FaZe is 177. So like less than half of the maps.
Yeah, and FaZe were really far ahead of like all the like Vitalities, G2s, all these stuff. Those were more like 140, 50 maybe or so. So like that's a huge fucking difference.
Fuck. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I interrupted you, Striker. I don't know if you had that.
No. I mean, I was just like kind of, I wanted to get into the conversation of like, how do you think the balance is, like, because for especially like around the major, like because there were so many upsets, everybody was saying like, okay, these are all the teams that are grinding super hard, and that's why they're so good now, because they have so much like match experience, and that they are playing so much, that they are like much more drilled than all these top teams who have to practice and don't get so many officials, to test their stuff. So do you feel now that there's a difference in that? Do you feel like it is harder for you to know if you're good, or how do you look at that?
I think we kind of see in our practice games, in Prague, basically, what we lacking right now. We were missing it before, but now we have more clear vision, so we don't need to play it that much. And also, we get better in building our game. We fixing stuff much quicker. We had less problems while we argue about something, and giving it less time. So it's everything is much better. I feel this way, at least. And we will only see on the upcoming Katowice. But I hope and I feel like we're getting stronger like every season.
That's interesting, right? Obviously, you're talking about Katowice coming up. That's something for 2024. That's your first event. And you guys are straight through to the group stage. You don't have to play in the play-ins. This is what we're talking about. You're in Group B, right? You're in Group B with the likes of Vitality, G2, Mouse, and then 4 other teams who are going to make their way up from the play-in stage. But for a team that is used to having to grind and play so much to get you elevated to this position, is it a worry for you going into this event as like, okay, shit, like now we have to perform, and you haven't had all these other games to kind of get you to where you need to be?
I don't have worry like game-wise. I think our playstyle and the form is on point right now. We're missing only some technical parts like individual aim, I don't know, training, deathmatch, whatever. But our strategic game is on point. Only thing that I'm a little scary about is how we will get into the groove of the tournament. Because I used to play with every other team like before NAVI from the play-in stages and earlier stages, and it feels like you get into the groove of the tournament and it's easier for you to play this way. But on the other hand, there is teams like Vitality, FaZe, who's always in these stages, and they showing that it's also could be upper hand for them. So it just depends on us how we approach the game. We need to start like from the first game, from the first round, 100%, and no one can be like light or easier. I don't know.
You were saying earlier that you've gotten better at identifying your mistakes and gaps. Why is that? Is it just through experience, or do you have like a new like process of how you're dealing with these things, or where does that come from?
First of all, it's come from that we had a talk and we decided to approach it a bit different as a team and communicate in a different way, in more better way, I can say, because we had some argues before, as I said. Now it's much more friendly and easier for everyone. Also, what's the first part of the question?
No, I mean just like how did you get better at identifying those mistakes?
Yeah, and our coach is doing a really great job right now. I feel like he got also much more experience. He already got like 20 years of experience, but
I mean,
with
that's a
us
solid
it's like
BT,
1 year, like 5. I feel for him. He can calm us very easily and just make everyone comfortable.
After 350 maps of officials, I would imagine. So yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So in the grinding up, getting to a certain point, now just evaluating where some of those weaknesses are, making sure communication is much nicer within the. That's something very important for everybody in life, guys. You know, you want to communicate to those around you as kindly as possible. You know, so you understand each other. It's kind of an important point. Okay, so Striker, you mentioned the MVP that was picked up for SDY over there in Jönköping when they took down Eternal Fire. That was Monte in the grand final. The MIBR was there, Virtus Pro was there, Nouns, Gamer Legion, Tyler Win 3D Max. So that's actually a pretty decent field. And you picked up the MVP of that one. Now, I wanted to move into the highlights and the lowlights of 2023 SDY. Was the highlight getting the MVP at that event? Was it the major? What was your highlight of 2023?
I think for every team, the highlight was a major because of the stickers, probably. It's like highlight of the CS:GO overall. I think the tournament was. It was beauty of CS in every aspect, and probably the higher point of my career as a player. I like never been that high before. Actually, we was with NAVI, but I didn't feel my. I didn't feel that I put as much in this that I put in Monte.
Like, isn't your impact on that result?
Yeah, my impact is much higher in Monte than it was back then in Navi, for sure.
Yeah, that I can understand that, right? And this type of a project, I'm sure you feel is like much more of something that you've helped like nurture and grow, as opposed to just being that fifth man plugged in over there at Navi, something that was already established. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So the major standing out, yeah, all right, that's the big one for everybody. In terms of, I guess, seeing the team grow, and I also think sticking together is one of these things, because when we were talking about it just before, and I asked the question about over the break, I was thinking about the other names, Striker and Prof, right? Like Apeks, like they've had some changes, but they've also been able to retain a couple of players. There's some teams like Into the Breach who were great, who have essentially completely capitulated. I know Thomas is back now to make it the core, but Monte's kind of been the stalwart team. They've battled through and they've stuck together and they haven't lost any of their key pieces. So that's a different story from the other teams, or most of the other teams that had good runs. Like Gamer Legion as well, they had players poached, Shui's gone, Imma's gone, but Monte stayed together. So I guess that's a highlight for me for the Monte team. That's not bad at all.
I mean, for me, the surprising part is how good you guys remained after losing BOROS. Let's say, I think that was a big question mark for all of the, let's say, underdog teams that made the playoffs. Who were like, okay, who's gonna get poached the hardest? Who's gonna bounce? Who's gonna keep their level? And you guys, like, you lost your star player, replaced them with a guy. Bro, I wouldn't say he was on anyone's radar realistically as a up and coming star or something. It's like it's just a guy,
He's just a role.
He's just a guy filling the spot. He's not he's not awful. He's not insane. So we're like, okay, Monte is just gonna wither away back to mediocrity, like top 20, 30 area, but that wasn't true. So how did you manage to like turn it around? Because I feel like that's also where your role on the team in the server changed a bit.
Yeah, I remember that mid-season when the BOROS got buyout, we had a struggle with the fifth player, and almost in the end of the season when we need to fill up a roster for some tournament, I don't remember what, one day before we fill in Bro in that spot, and we went for bootcamp instantly. And
must have been Cologne, no?
Yeah, probably Cologne. Yeah, it was first tournament of the new season. Yeah, and first time we come to bootcamp and played with Bro, and we realized that he's actually a really good player, and our scouting team did a good job. Our coach and Aydin, our manager, they did very well, and he's unexperienced, but he's willing to learn and willing to listen to you. And for us, it was the most important part, because we understood, me, coach, Voros, that we can teach him pretty fast if he has this in his character, and it ended up well, I guess.
Well, that's one of the things, right? That to me, though, when I think about this overall, and this isn't to like neg on any of the players within the team or anything like that, but it's more that overall with the team you don't have like a Simple or a Zaiwu or like a Shiro or any like mega like standout star name along those lines, but your team gets it done with a lot of either good strategies or good teamwork, right? Like that's when I look at Monte, I think this is a team, right? They're not functioning on the names. You guys are like a squad that kind of like Demka will have some pop-off games. You'll have some pop-off games. Boro will have some pop-off games. Is that the way it feels that you guys are built and you function more just as like team Counter-Strike as opposed to just trying to put individuals in what gets the most out of them?
Yeah, the case for us is everybody have space in game. Everybody have their moments and have time to improve their playstyle. So we give space to every player. It's the same way. Only probably Voro right now and me have more space, but it's role based. It's have to be like that. But overall, everybody can show up pretty much. Especially Krasnal did when CS2 comes out. It feels like it was his game completely. Yeah, and as I said, everybody can show great CS because we're trying to work as a team and to help each other in like every kind of scenario.
I was curious about, I mean, Harry has an article coming out which is on the, I don't know if people will know it, but on the Ewing theory, which is basically that like after losing your best player, a team kind of overperforms the expectations, you know, despite the fact that, you know, they don't have as much firepower. And they do that by kind of spreading the work, you know, of the one star player, and you know that him not having as much space, let's say, inside the team actually helps the team, you know, after he leaves, you know, that everybody has a little bit more space. I'm curious about if this was the case for you guys, you know, where BOROS was obviously the guy who was constantly like looking for fights, constantly had all the space. He was the guy who was just like you know, 0.30 opening kills per round or something crazy, you know, like 30% opening duels. So is it the case that, you know, maybe it's a bit more spread inside the team now where everybody has a little bit more space after BOROS left?
Actually, I remember when BOROS left, first things that I tried to do that fill BOROS roles, and I can say it was not easy at all. I remember I was trying to do the same things that he does, like to go every time aggressive, to have entries, peaks, everything like this, and it I didn't feel like the right way. And after that, we talked a bit through the game. We even changed in-game leader, and we had a lot of rebuild inside the team. We were trying to find our groove and synchronize our players on like as a whole, and we end up filling the spots and filling the players' needs, like of every player, and it was the best part probably, and that's what get us to this level, I think.
Okay. Well, that's the thing, right? Like you don't have anybody who's sacrificing everything. It's everybody when the moment calls for it and that necessary play, you can activate that individual, which, you know, that would feel a whole lot better, I would imagine, than just having, you know, all the resources fed to one guy all the time. Now, something I want to pick up with, you mentioned Krasnal and CS2. You guys went to Sydney. You guys could have even made it to the playoffs there, right? That series you had against Complexity was pretty close, if I remember rightly, to go through.
It was heavy choked by us, I remember.
But I wanted to ask, right, with that being the first CS2 LAN event, right? That was the first. Like, how did it feel? Because this is still something we're in the infancy of, right? People are still talking about CS2. Is this like this? Because back then we're in a weird spot, right? And we're still kind of learning the nuances of the game. The fucking boost bugs still exist. There was, you know, there's always something a little bit raw. But back then, how did it feel playing CS2 at the time? Did it just feel like Counter-Strike to you?
Yeah, I remember when it comes out, we had talk with guys. We just try the game, we feel it, and me and Krasnal feel the most probably happiest of all of our players. And I was surprised when I go to Twitter and see everybody like approaching it in a weird way, especially pro players. Like they saying it's shit, I don't want to play it or something like this. And I understand that it's our chance to take advantage of it. So basically, we just learn as much as it possible, and we focus on positivities of the game. And if a game have deficit, we should use it. So we use deficit and just enjoy the game basically. And all the time we played every tournament, we had a lot of fun. Sometimes, of course, we choked. we have our problems, but overall I can say it was very enjoyable to play when it comes out.
Okay, well that's on the contrary to almost everything.
What did you enjoy the most about CS2, or what do you enjoy right now? Like the positives.
Yeah, when it comes out, I really enjoy wide swings. I love it so much. We were swinging like crazy everywhere, basically. Every angle is the wider we had the rule. The wider you swing, the better you are. So we went like shoo, full wide swings, headshot, and shooting was pretty crispy, I can say, and nice. In our team, everybody have great aim and can headshot heavy. So it feels like it was built for us.
Okay. Do you think that's still actually the case? Because at the beginning, everybody was like, okay, you just have to swing. You just have to swing. Like, you have to peak. Like, if you're the one peaking, you win. Yeah. And do you feel like this is still the case, even 3 months into CS2 or whatever we are at now?
Right now, it's more about it's coming back to the tactics, yes, I can say, and like overall understanding of the teams, how they approach the game, they play style and things like that. And there is no much solo plays anymore, but it's normal because everybody building and everybody changing their approach to the game. So right now it's better in this scenario.
Yeah, that's kind of what the way I was viewing it as well. Like in the beginning, when everything's a bit more new and raw, and people are taking advantage of like the HE and the smoke, or people are talking about the peaker advantage and swinging wide, like you're saying, like the Counter-Strike in Sydney for the most part just felt very fast, like in your face, rock'em sock'em Counter-Strike, just biff, 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 biff. And then now you're seeing it slow down. There's a bit more nuance, the way that people are playing with you two. It's like, okay, well, when we started CSGO, we had maybe like a bunch of years before Counter-Strike started to become properly like tactics. Like, obviously Astralis are the ones who really introduced it, but it was more incremental. And now this is like, we already have the blueprint of what we did in CSGO. Why would we just completely forget about that with CS2 and just fight? And now we're getting back a little bit more to that point that you're highlighting there. Okay, so you guys played a bunch of CS2 events towards the tail end of the year. Obviously, those challenger events were some of them. But one of the things that I look at is the amount of times you guys have to face up against Virtus Pro, mate. Now, I'll be honest. I'm going to say something here. I really don't like watching Virtus Pro play because their play style to me is quite boring. But I respect the fact that they play a style that is a good style to win games. How do you feel having to play against this fucking, like pulling teeth style of Counter-Strike? Does it bore the fuck out of you when you're in the server?
To be honest, actually, it's probably the most sad way to play Counter-Strike.
Wait, here we go.
It's like when you play against them, you feel like them dying inside and you dying inside because the way they play, No, it's like I would never play this because it's just I like to have fun, to enjoy the game, and things like this.
You guys play them shitloads of times, though. Like, you beat them every tournament you get. You can.
Yeah, it's even when we played last time versus them, we know exactly what they're doing, and we could still lose because we don't have this
like patience,
stamina in place.
Yeah, they grind you down.
Yeah.
I can't. That answer right there is perfect to me. Like, because you have to respect it, right? Because it can win, but it just you're right. Like, I do feel I lose a little bit of myself every time I commentate a VP game, and I'm not in the server having to stare at my crosshair for fucking a minute and 20 seconds until something happens. So holy shit. But it must feel good when you beat them, right? That must be a victory on multiple levels that feels better than most.
Yeah, but when you lose to them, man, that's crazy.
Is it better to win against them or worse than it is bad to lose against them?
I think it's better to win against them because we didn't win that much, to be honest.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I wanted to ask, because we're talking about like other teams that you played from your like I would say grind than last year in like online, like the tier 2, let's say, teams. Who impressed you the most? Like, who's on your radar, let's say, for this year to maybe have a breakout, or who we should watch for at the RMR, for example?
Okay, to be honest, I need to check up with it because it's pretty hard right now.
I mean, there's a lot of teams.
A lot of teams.
A lot of teams.
Yeah, this is a lot of teams.
But if there's like one or two, let's say, not big names that are on there that you think have a good chance. I saw someone in chat said Nexus is making the major. I'm gonna presume this person is Romanian. no disrespect. I mean, they might.
They might.
I have curiosity about new ENCE roster. It's basically 9 with glaive, and I don't know how it will work exactly. For me, they not like top right now, like not like top 5, maybe not even top 10. But I would like to see how they will approach, how they will play the game. It will be pretty interesting, I think. And I was also surprised by Liquid. We had some prags versus them, maybe 1, maybe 2, I don't remember. And when the roster comes out, I was like thinking that's actually pretty good. It's nice roster. It should do a lot of damage. Maybe they'll need more time, and I think it will come. But right now, I have more expectations from them.
Yeah, so that's exactly the sentiment I was echoing today while watching them almost lose to Spirit with 2 stand-ins and no donk, and losing to the coach Hallie. I couldn't believe what I was watching today, man.
I was maybe we talk about this later, I don't know, but I was scared of Chad, your question, because last time you're like, oh, Liquid not really doing well in the online qualifiers, and I was trying to like play it down. But now I see them also on LAN. It's like, it's kind of a yikes there. It's a few yikes moments, few yikes rounds overall. And honestly, they should have lost that. They definitely should have lost that. They magically recovered that last half on Ancient to like survive. So good for them, I guess. Also just sad. Also just sad for Spirit, honestly, that they even have to be in this situation.
Yeah. Well, we'll return to that. Let's stick on SDY here. Let's keep jumping forward. Now, Striker, I'm going to handball this one over to you, because at the award show, when we announced the 21st to 30th positions, SDY's name was one of them that cropped up on that list. Now, do you want to give the people at home a little bit of a maybe why, and then we can talk to SDY about him appearing in the top 30 players of the year? Yeah,
I mean, honestly, like stats wise, if the level of tournaments that you played at, like that, there was a reasonable case, you know, like if it wasn't just the second half of the year where you played against the best teams, you know, like stats wise, you were up there with like the top 15 to 20 players, you know. So from that perspective, it was really just the sample size and the fact that, you know, like there weren't that many big events that Monte played until the latter half of the year. So yeah, props for that.
Does that surprise you, SDY, to see your name up in the top 30 like that, or do you feel like you're a top 30 player in the world?
I feel like I deserve it, to be honest, because I worked my ass off with my team, and I think I had a lot of impact in our progression, in our just in our game overall.
Your arc as like an individual is like a really interesting one if people look at it, right? Obviously, there's the Spirit days, and then that all dissipates, and then the Navi time, and then, you know, from the outside looking in, it's like, oh shit, this is like Simple's new punching bag type situation. And then you're on a Monte, who's a team that we've just discussed as a team, not like superstar individuals. And then from that, you flourish as this like hugely impactful player who ends the end of 2023 as a top 30 player in the world. Like, that's fucking sick. Like, that's a really cool story right there.
And I'm happy about it, because like, you should never give up in anything you do in your life, to be honest, guys. In chat, who's sitting there, like, do your best and enjoy your life.
A nice advice out there. Do your best and enjoy your life. Yeah. Look, we would all be much happier people if we could do that, wouldn't we? I'm struggling. I'm trying to put it together. I'm raging at my face at games. Where we were just talking before, SDY, we were saying that I put a bit of vernacular out there for everybody at home. I said Tabson's going off his tree. He was fucking losing his shit. I don't think he's enjoying his life right now. Poor Tabson.
I don't know if he's doing his best either. I feel like he can do overall. The whole team can do much better than they're doing right now. But it is what it is, as they say.
It's going to be a miserable time over there, doesn't it? Like you think, yeah. Anyway, we're getting too far ahead of ourselves.
I think it's actually a question in chat that I wanted to ask before, but we got sidetracked. You mentioned the IGL link situation. You're now one of these teams like Virtus Pro were back in the Avant-Garde back in the day. It was like you never actually know who is IGLing. So like every tournament we go up to you and it's like, hey, yeah, by the way, who is IGLing right now on the team? Because it's like, oh, it was Voro. I think maybe it was you at the beginning, but then it was Voro until the Paris major, then mid major you changed, and now you're telling me after the major it changed again. So can you just like break it down? How did it go, and who is IGLing now?
Yeah, right now IGL Voro is IGLing, and he's like a main strategic guy with our coach, I can say, building rounds, things like that. But our goal as a team, the most important part of the game in our vision is mid game. It's when everybody need to call, and so we trying to teach our players to have initiation and call in the middle of rounds for every player. Everyone should be able to do it, because otherwise it's just hard to play for everybody, because you're not inside the game, you're just following calls. So our goal is to everybody call on the same level in mid game.
Okay.
Is there something there though? Because at the end of all of this, there needs to be like a hierarchy of decisions. So is there like code words? If somebody says like this specific code word, everybody kind of has to go with that call, or will somebody? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. We have that, and also we have like normal calls from the mid game, like whatever you see the gap, you use it, you call for everybody.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, but that's the key, right? Because this is modern Counter-Strike. It's about coming up with the decision tree of theory. And if everybody understands the decision tree of theory and a person is in the position to make that move from point A to point B or whatever it's going to be, that's like the in-game leading has been done beforehand. So the information doesn't have to get relayed. So they aim with the reaction. The reaction's already been discussed. And if it doesn't work in the moment, well, you've still gone with what you guys talked about being the best decision, right? Is that kind of how it works for you guys?
Yeah, but we still, it's kind of like that, but we still given a place for creativity to our players. It's not like strict or something. Yeah, we can create even a call from the freeze time that will be crazy for some people or for some teams, but we will follow it and we will try to trust in every decision that our players make.
Okay. All right. Nice. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about. Are you guys happy with all the past stuff we've spoken about with SDY about? Are we happy to start looking forward, projecting into? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go.
So yeah, you guys have been back practicing, as you mentioned when we kicked this off. I think you said since the 18th, so not very long. Katowice being your first event, and then straight into the RMRs. So is there a boot camp coming? What's the situation with yourself and Monte and getting everything back on track for 2024?
Yeah, actually, we wanted to go to bootcamp. It's supposed to be from 18 also, but we didn't get permission to leave country from our government, and we couldn't attend it. So we have to practice from homes right now. That's what we're doing, and sadly, there is a lot of problems with it, things like that. Travel days on our normal travel day to any tournament is like 2 days from Ukraine, because we have to drive with a car, cross the borders, and have a sleepover at some hotels and fly to the tournament on the next day. And it's always like this, so it's kind of disadvantage for us. But we're trying to work with this with our best. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just I can for sure say it's not the best. But we make it work somehow.
Okay. I don't know if this is too personal of a question or not, but do you suspect this to be an issue for when you guys need to travel to the tournaments, or is this only a temporary problem?
It's a problem that we didn't get permission because it was for a boot camp exactly. If it's tournament and we represent our country on the international arena, that it's fine. We will get the permission and we will go for it.
Okay. All right. Well, so you'll be in Katowice, no dramas then. Okay. Still with the shitty travel though, I imagine.
Actually, it's the fastest one from the time when the war started, because it's literally 600 kilometers from my place. Like, it's only car.
So you drive directly.
Oh, yeah, you're
to
going
Katowice.
straight to Katowice.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Not that far from the border.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, fair enough. Okay, so then in terms, I guess that kind of really fucks everything, because the boot camps in person are the ones where you kind of, you're spending time in the server and outside of the server. You're building the bond, so that kind of is going to hurt the preparation a bit. You're going to go straight from Kato into the RMR though, right?
And it's one more sad part that we have to go back to Ukraine because our permission to leave is only for a tournament, basically like 2 weeks or something. So we need to go back, spend like 1-2 days in Ukraine, and then we have to travel to RMR because we can't
Fucking hell.
Different
travel it.
permissions for every tournament.
Yes, we need to have different permission. It's like
That's
it's
rough.
very sad.
Fuck.
That's what you have to deal when your country next to Russia, sadly.
Fuck. That's it. Ah, fuck.
And now it's like anytime someone complains about travel days, you can just be like, go listen to SDY and Monte
Yeah.
situation. You know, when you have like a 5-hour layover instead of a direct flight, you're like, I hate my life. This is so bad. But this is puts things into perspective for sure.
Someone just asked in chat the most ridiculous question. They just said, "Why don't Monte boot camp in Ukraine?" Fucking hell. Oh, I'm laughing. It's just such a crazy question to ask. Yeah.
Actually, we ask our guys, do you will be up to come to boot camp to Ukraine? And they said, of course, we want to get hit by rocket or something.
Yeah, right. Like fucking hell.
I guess you have to find humor
not
in
the
the
most
situation.
enticing location to boot camp.
Yikes.
I mean, the good thing is Romania is also bordering on Ukraine, so at least you can also drive over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking on the bright side of life right now. Oh, geez. Okay, so I imagine the goal in the most recent future is to qualify the RMR and then for the major, right? Like outside of that, what is the start of the year looking like for you guys, or is it all just laser focus? RMR is the most important thing. Do you use Katowice as a warm up? Like, does Katowice have a goal of, hey, we need to get to playoffs, or it's just like, all right, let's go, let's play some good CS and make sure we're ready for the RMR?
Yeah, right now it will be that way, that every tournament we play, every tournament that we invited to, we need to reach at least playoff. It's our goal. The smallest one is playoffs, because we understand that to keep up in these ratings, especially that we don't have blast invites, we need to play well and to have good places on this tournament, basically. So we will try our best in every tournament, and also we will play blast qualifiers
Showdown, yeah.
or something like that.
Okay, so you've got heaps of stuff to keep you busy. All right. Now, look, we're going to jump forward into some sponsor stuff right now, and then we'll get into talking about the recent news, what's been going on with Blast, and then a little bit of conversation about Katowice, because we're doing this show midweek, everybody. This is just a quick PSA for everybody playing at home. I have to travel to Katowice on the weekend, so we couldn't do one when Blast ends. I'll already have to be there, and then shit's going to be pretty hectic from that point onwards, and we know that there's Blast games on right now, so we're just picking and choosing and getting things happening. Now, we've got the Vox Pop up for this week. Now, this one here, I thought was quite an interesting little Vox Pop that was made for this. Now, the question for everybody playing at home, it was thrown out to the audience. Now, I don't know if this was even a possibility or if this has just come from nowhere. Prof or Striker, you can maybe help me with this one. But it was to do, we're asking the people, would they like to see SDY get another chance at NAVI? Well, now the team's completely international. You know, it's a whole different question. So the options for everybody at home. It's all right, Lucas. It's all good, man. It's all good. I'm feeling the air, bro. You take your time. It's all good. The questions that we asked everybody at home were: yes, he can improve NAVI. No, he won't fit in NAVI. Or Monte has more potential. Now, while we're waiting for this to potentially get up on screen, maybe it will, maybe it won't. What do you think of that question, Prof?
I mean, I think it's interesting from the obviously Ukrainian perspective. Even though NAVI is an international team, their root is there and their fan base is, Ukrainian. And I think SDY, I don't want to say like best Ukrainian player right now, but like up there for sure. And it's a huge difference to the situation that was originally there in NAVI, right? And feels kind of almost I don't know, almost feels like scammed out of the opportunity to play in NAVI, right? With how things worked out, because it just went badly from the start, and not even like, even though you won the first tournament, right? Yeah. It just the things didn't mesh as they should have, and now you came in as a fifth, right? And now you're proving that you can be much more than just a filler. And it feels like it would be nice to kind of have that come together once again as a concept, right? What do you think? What do you think?
I think Navi have very interesting roster right now, and I like how they approach it, how they build it. They have big brains behind it, Blade, Ami, and also playing very structured. So yes, I like what they're doing, but like I didn't feel like there is any better place for me than Monte's mid-season, even if I had some chances to join other teams. So it's the same for Navi.
Okay, so you agree with the people at home, because most people at home have come through and said no, there's more potential in Monte, right? The least amount of votes got yes, he would fit, or he would improve Navi, and then the second highest was no, he wouldn't fit in Navi. But most people think that Monte has more potential. That's quite interesting, right? Obviously, you've got Wonderful over there in Navi, you've got Bit over there in Navi. That's the Ukrainian representation. Then Amy and Blade, as you just mentioned, and Navi have been looking pretty good at Blast, actually. Like they've been looking like they're putting some good Counter-Strike together. But Striker, you got any input on this one right here? What do you think of what the people at home have voted for?
I'm kind of surprised, considering like Instagram always sways it towards like the bigger brands, bigger names, and stuff like that. So I would have expected like some people to lean towards like an Navi move or something. So kind of surprised about that result, to be honest.
Okay, all right.
What do you make of the Navi like change in direction overall, like going fully international?
Yeah, as I said, it was the best option for them, to be honest. Because in the international market, you have much more options, basically. So based on it, you can build better rosters. And everybody is playing, almost every team have international rosters, speaking English. It's not a problem anymore. Everybody can learn it. They learn it on Faceit, FPL, whatever. So just better.
Yeah.
Curiously though, do you if you with Waro or like Demka or LMBT needs to get something across quickly in one of his timeouts, you guys speak in Ukrainian at any point, or is it always just English?
We always trying to keep up with English, but we speak in Ukrainian in clutches when our foreign players dead already, and also there is some difficulties with speaking and understanding English sometimes. So we just explaining some things in Ukrainian to who need it.
Yeah, make things a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, fair enough. And I think that because you guys have actually the core as that, you're going to have more instances where you can do that, and it's not like going to be too much of a hindrance overall. All right. Well, that was the.
I mean, I imagine Krasnal actually understands quite a lot, but Bro has to feel a little bit left out from that conversation, right?
Yeah, actually, it is. Krasnal understands everything in Ukrainian, almost.
Yeah.
Like when we speak, he understands the contents, at least context. Yeah, context. Yeah.
Just need to get Bro up to speed then. See if you can give him a couple of lessons, mate. All right, we went through Vox Pop. Now we're going to do Skinionaire. So right now, for everybody in chat, if you're joining us for the first time, if you want to enter a raffle to win potentially a $50 voucher, brought to you by trader.gg. That is our skin partner here at HLTV Confirmed. You can type trader in chat right now. That'll be your raffle ticket. Now, SDY, you've been with us before. You know what this is all about. Remember, multiple choice, multiple questions. Are you ready to get this one going?
Yeah, I think so, but I don't actually see it very nice. It's kind of
I can
blurry.
give you a link. Yeah, I'll read them out to you. I can give you a link as well if you want to do it. That's the link right there. So you can click it yourself, or you can let me do it. It's up to you. But that link right there will give you a nice little better view. And tonight, I have themed the questions
Use
about
my
your.
link.
Oh, okay.
Use my link
Lucas's.
instead.
Don't use
It's
my
fancy.
link. Lucas's link is fancy. My link is old and outdated. All right.
Why is it loud? Wait.
Now, I've made the questions this evening about your teammates. So we got people in chat. Type and trade it. That's good news. All right, let's get things started. Question number 1. Who wants to be a Skinionaire? Brought to you by trader.gg. What is the last name of your Danish teammate, Bro? Is it Anderson? I don't know. I'm going to say this wrong. Billy or Bro?
It's a funny one. Of course, it's Bro.
Bro.
Yeah.
All right, we'll lock in C. Bro.
Bro X2.
Yeah. I like what he's done there, though. It's a great name. It works. It's short. It's 3 letters, and it's his last name. So, he probably gets called Bro quite often. All right, nice. A nice softball there to kick things off. That's 1 from 1. Question number 2. Who is the youngest member of Monte? Is it Waro 2K, Krasnal, or Bro?
Okay, that's actually a scary one. I think it's Krasnal, but might be Bro, but I think it's Krasnal. So I vote for Krasnal.
Okay, we're going to lock in B. Krasnal, and the correct
Tricky
answer
one.
is Krasnal, which is correct. So Bro's 21, Krasnal's 20,
Yeah.
and I think Warro's 22.
Yeah, they all like same age almost.
Yeah, you're the oldest of the bunch.
Yeah.
You're the daddy. You got to look after him, mate.
Yeah, kind of.
All right. Question number 3. Krasnal was multiple times a part of which Polish team? Was it AGO, PGE? Is that
I
Turov?
know that he was in fact in AGO. He was playing for AGO, but I don't know if multiple times. I don't remember him in PGA Turov at all. Maybe Los Cogutos, but from what I actually remember, it's AGO.
Ooh, okay. What team did he join Monte from? Do you remember?
Actually, Los Cogutos, I think, yeah?
Potentially, yeah, mate. I don't want to give away too much here, mate.
Yeah, but he joined much earlier than me, so... that's a tricky one, yeah.
Striker, can you chip in here with any assistance if SDY wants a lifeline?
I think Chad is trying to tell you you were wrong in your first answer.
Wait, I don't see anything in chat. Okay, let's put it as 3, Los Cogutos, yeah?
I'm going to lock in C, the big Roosters, and the correct answer is C.
Oh, thank God. Phew.
Yeah, no, we got there. I was going through his team history today, and he was like in Los Cogutos, then not, then in them again, then not, then in them again, and then it was in Monte.
Oh, okay.
So we got you there. All right. Question number 4. Monte's analyst Krizen beat which of these teams the IEM Katowice Major of 2019? Was it A FaZe, B ENCE, or C NAVI?
Oh shit, it's insane.
This is in the legend stage as well.
Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
that's a rough one.
You can get assistance from Prof or Striker here. Or
Bro,
both.
don't look at
Well,
me.
this
I
is
have
in
no
the group
idea.
stage, not in the playoffs,
Yeah.
right?
It was in legend stage yet.
Bro,
That is hard as fuck. If it was
Not
playoffs, I would have
real
remembered, but not.
I can just guess. I don't know. I think it's ENCE, but I'm not sure.
I also feel like it's ENCE.
2019 Katowice.
2019 Katowice. I was in this tournament also with Spirit, as I remember.
But ENCE went to the final of that one.
But it was just a group stage game. So.
I know, but you have 10 seconds.
Good luck.
That's great.
Just pick something, man. I have no idea.
I just put that. Fuck it.
ENCE? All right, lock it in. B ENCE. I made one too hard this evening. I'm
Nice.
sorry,
That
buddy.
is still-
It was FaZe.
Bad.
Now, they beat FaZe in a best of 1. They lost to NAVI and ENCE in best of 3s to not go through the legend stage to the playoff stage.
Oh, of course.
Sorry, guys. They
Sage.
were...
Sage.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. All right,
That's
question.
a bullshit question.
Yeah,
Question
that's
number
a
5.
Very crazy question.
I was trying to give Krizen his props so people know he's fucking beaten FaZe at a major, boys. You know, I'm trying to just give him his flowers. Question number 5. LMBT just sold his car. What brand was it? Mercedes, BMW, or Audi?
Actually, I think LMBT sold over 20 BMWs in his life, probably. So almost likely. Only BMWs, no other options here.
All right, we've locked in B, BMW, and the correct answer is BMW. If people follow LMBT on Instagram, you see he's always got car content up there. He fucking loves it.
Yeah, now I have the question. Why the previous one was so much harder than that one?
Now, look, SDY, since I've been doing the questions, mate, nothing really makes sense around here, you know? So sometimes they're easy, sometimes they're hard. There's no easy way through it. So I apologize for the Krizen question. I thought we would just, give Krizen his flowers. But we got 4 out of 5. So
Yeah, not that bad, actually.
yeah, good stuff. And the winner of the skin brought to you by Trader.gg is Leon KR0504. That is Leon KR0504. Our people reach out to your people and get you the, what was it, $15 skin? I think that was. Yeah, $15 skin. We got 4 out of the 5. So there you go. There you have it. That's Trader.gg. And look, let's keep the show moving along, shall we? Oh, actually, Lucas, can we run the ads now?
Sure.
Yeah, let's run the ads and then we'll come back and we'll get into the recent news.
Best esports odds. VIP program and a variety of bonuses. Fast and easy withdrawals. Bet on every possible CSGO matching tournament, as well as any other esports game. Only on 22Bet.
Do you want to change your boring old skins for awesome new ones fast without losing a lot of value and without the risk of getting scammed? Go to tradeit.gg and safely trade your items within 60 seconds. Just select which items you want to trade from your inventory and choose whatever skin you want from Tradeit's inventory. Click Trade, verify the trade on Steam, and you're good to go. With the biggest inventory available for the lowest trading fees on the market, tradeit.gg is your go-to whenever you want to play with new skins.
All right, we are back. Thanks for sticking through us through the ads. Quite nice, quick ads. Not too many dramas. Everything going quick as you like. Now, well, if you're SDY and you placed top 16 at the last major, you're already in the RMRs. But if you're most other teams, you fucking didn't. And you've had to battle real goddamn hard to get yourself a spot at these RMRs. And that's what we're going to kick off the recent news for tonight, is discussing the groups and maybe some of the teams that missed out on we'll talk about the groups when we're a little bit closer, but it's more to do with the teams who qualified for the RMRs and those who didn't. Some big names, Big being one of them, is probably one of the tip of my tongue here today. Greyhound made it after just the Oceanic side of things. They made it. Tyloo made it. Lin Vision made it. Mongolz made it. So those are the ones that we're not really going to spend too much time talking about. It's the European side of things that sticks out. SDY, were you watching many of the games with the IPs available and all that good stuff?
Yeah, I were following some, not from the IPs, but on the streams. People were streaming it, a lot of streams. So I've been following some.
Who was your favorite streamer streaming the games? Was it Maui Snake?
Actually, I've been on his stream for some time, but I like to watch Leninish guy. He's streaming on Ukrainian, so he's also in the chat right now. I can see him. He's
the bloke who's chatting. Oh, okay. I see. You're getting a shout out as well. Nice, big. So, what was the most surprising result for you when you were watching? It was surely it has to be that like Big is the largest name.
That's probably the most sad result for me. I expected them to go through, but some other teams made it. Maybe, as I said, Big stressed it too much, and they just couldn't find their game. I don't know.
You think too much pressure on them?
Yeah, I think they put too much pressure on themselves. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, also I think there's a couple of they're not academy players anymore, but there are some younger names like Sin and Process in there. The thing is, I didn't watch a lot of the big games. I'm kind of a bit disenchanted by them, but I did think that they would have enough to get through and at least make it to compete at the RMRs. Striker, were you able to catch many of the games?
I mean, I watched like here and there just because it was like going on for a while. I think like the biggest heartbreak story for me is Sync. Just because, like, at some point you got to a point where it was like 16 out of 17 teams made it through. You know, like it was basically like you're basically there. Yeah. You just need to do something. Like you need to do something, and they're the one who went out. You know, in the end. So I think for them, it must be super heartbreaking, man. Obviously, there are some other bigger names that didn't make it. You know, like Force probably stands out as another one of those. I mean, Big would have been another one for me. Obviously, the moment I mentioned Sinners, the moment I mentioned Sinners, last one they went 0-3, didn't really do anything. So yeah, I mean, those were probably the biggest. Yeah, Paravision. I mean, those are from the online qualifiers already, right? They didn't even make it
from the Open. Yeah,
open. I mean,
I also wanted A-ballers to go through.
JW was pretty pissed about that one on Twitter. So, Who
did they even lose to?
I actually don't know.
They also went 0-3.
Spera and Entropic. No? Yeah, not really. The Spera team has been around for a while now, and I know nothing about losing to Entropic. That's kind of a mishmash of everything available on the scene right now. So not that crazy. I think when you look at Big's run, they did lose to like Fnatic. Who did they lose to? Actually, decent teams. Fnatic, BetBoom, and then the Nexus 02. The Nexus 02 is kind of the one that you can't really forgive them for. But I think losing to Fnatic and BetBoom, they're like pretty good teams. Like not that crazy. It just shows how competitive the qualifiers are. It's like those are 2 out of your 3 losses, right? So
It's
strictly
also
banned.
very sad that how many cheaters played it and how many cheaters went far in this. It's crazy.
So that right there, I'll ask you a question, SD, because you see all the conversation of people talking about it and posting these clips and everything like that. Like, how much of that do you think is like, yeah, there are a lot of cheaters here? Like, what's from a professional standpoint and online Counter-Strike? What's your kind of breakdown of all of it?
Yeah, I'm so happy that I don't need to be in the tier 4 fight or tier 3 fight. I don't know how to name it, but I'm so happy I'm over with it and I'm playing best possible Counter-Strike because it just sad for the teams that didn't make it because they lost to cheaters. I did it also in my life a few times. I even lost to Heroic with Hunden on nuke hanging around like that, you know. So yeah, I hate cheaters, everything about cheats, and it's just sad for the teams.
Yeah, it's one of these things, online Counter-Strike. That's why, I say it time and time again, but the purest form of CS is always going to be LAN CS, right? And that's not always going to be possible in all points of qualification, especially when we're dealing with so many names. And there's going to be some, excuse my French, some just out there who want to take the one thing that we have as pure in our game, right? The fact that we're all meant to be playing because we love the game and they're trying to cheat the fucking system. That's a bit of a shame.
Yeah, I mean the overall, just the whole experience, just looking at news every day and like reading something was very disheartening, I would say, from a fan perspective or from like an industry perspective, being like, okay, well, today we have these cheaters, tomorrow we have like bullshit with how many teams are playing, and then they expand it, but then they expand it in a way that's also like, if you don't have forethought, then you kind of try to fix things last minute, then it's not going to be the perfect solution, right? But it's just like every day there's some new drama about it, and just the state of the game in terms of like Go TV is so awful. Like the fact that you don't have the normal Go TV with like the health and the utility on the sides, so disgusting to watch. Like I'm trying to watch stuff, and then like someone does damage, like there's a nade, and like I'm supposed to see like 2 pixels on the top of the screen. If it did, there's like it's so bad. It's honestly so bad. It's disappointing, and then you can live through like a few of these things, but when they all come together, some like Valve issues, some PGL issues, maybe challenger mode, maybe not, lack of good anti-cheat on the service, maybe all of these things coming together, it really did feel a lot more negative than it should be. Like usually these open qualifiers, there's always some cheaters and always some bullshit like this. It always happens, but it really overshadowed the hype around these open qualifiers and the fact that it is open to everyone and having these cool runs and stories and being like, oh, this team from wherever, is making a run. Maybe they make it to the closed and stuff like that.
Yeah. I tried to. Yeah. Okay, let me just quickly reference for everybody playing at home the teams who did make it through the qualifiers, right? I had it up here a second ago. Let me fucking try and bring this back on my screen. Okay, so in Group B for the RMRs, the teams that came through the qualifiers were Mouse, Cloud9, Spirit, Astralis, Preci, OG, Heroic, Para, Ecstatic, and Nexus, right? And they're joining a bunch of already established names like Vitality. Monte's in there. That's going to be your group for the RMRs. SDY, how do you feel about your group? Are you happy with it, or would you prefer to be in Group A?
I think it's pretty balanced, to be honest. Probably the most balanced of all majors. I remember. Okay. So I don't mind it. Only suspicious team in that group it's Para, probably. Thank God it will be LAN, because from the clips that I see, it's kind of weird at some point.
They were one of the teams whose name was getting thrown around. Yeah, that's for sure. I did see a couple of comments regarding those guys. There was also the team that came from was it the Southeast Asian qualifier that were accused of cheating? There was a bunch of people from Kyrgyzstan. I don't know.
What is the name?
Yeah,
they have a funny name as well.
Troublemakers. So they there was I think it was some of the Indian players were making a lot of noise on social media regarding that and posting some clips and stuff.
Some new for second or something.
Yeah. This stuff, this is the thing. Like, if you cheated online, do you even go to the LAN or do you just dodge? What do you do? Do you go?
I mean,
I
what's the
know.
point of cheating if you're not gonna make it there, right?
But what's the like? You're obviously not going to win. Like you cheated to get
Yeah,
through.
but I can actually have some experience in it because when I was playing back then, like low tier CS, like Ukrainian LANs or whatever, some people were cheating online in online part of the tournaments, and they never come to LAN. But
They're dodging. Yeah.
yeah, LAN dodgers basically.
Yeah. Like Joel's.
There was a
Yeah.
team like that, yeah.
Yeah, simple were playing in it sometimes. Also.
Hey.
Yeah, actually, it was.
Shit. Where were? Oh, and there's the Group A teams who through the qualifiers, which was Navi, Virtus Pro, Eternal Fire, Bet Boom, Nine Pandas, Movistar Koi, 3D Max, who got the lowest seed in that very final decider, like whether it was the three teams. I guess that was like the Buckholes or whatever it was. Saw. Amcal, who actually I think played some impressive CS throughout that. Fnatic, X Thunderflash, and that's it. Joining the likes of like FaZe and G2 and Falcons, who are in that group over there. So those are the names. Obviously, we discussed some of the bigger ones that missed out. Is there anything else that we want to talk about from the RMR closed qualifier roundup? I suppose 9Z not making it after Martinez left Movistar, and then they made it. So. That game apparently went for a really long time. I saw some people tweeting saying that they were playing for like 15 hours, or the day was like 15 hours long or something over there for the South American games.
There was one of those days where like a bunch of the Brazilian teams had like problems because they were all in one bootcamp place, and because of weather or something, like electricity kept going out, so it was like delayed for several hours. So they had to move around and all that stuff. So I think that was a part of it. I don't know what happened on the second day. I actually wasn't following that, but I think that might have played a part. But I think it's kind of heartbreaking for 9Z. Peter actually made me aware that they finished just outside for the second time in a row, where they finished eighth out of top 7 making it through. So like for the second time in a row, they're just missing out by a hair.
By Nat's wing. Yeah, they're another more notable name that had missed out. Did Fluxo miss out? Did they? I swear, I'm gonna have to check this. I swear.
Yeah, they did.
They're not.
Yeah, which was kind of surprising, I guess, for a name more like Fluxo. But yeah, a bunch of bigger names kind of missing out. Thank you for the link. Look at that. Bang. There you go. Bang. Straight into the mix here. So the teams that made it: MIBR, Legacy, Cold Zero's Boys, Imperial, Bastia, Odic. Odic's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wood 7 team. I only know Wood 7 and Turtle.
Turtle, those two, yeah, and a bunch of newer names. So that's interesting. So they've been able to make something happen. Ex-MIBR players. Pain have gotten through. So Big U0 does it again. About a few more notable names in that one. And the Red Canids, which is a bunch of...
It's actually like a bunch of known names from Brazil as well, yeah. Not like the top people, but like a lot of people that have been around the scene for a while.
Yeah.
Davideus' revenge against 9Z, huh? Look at that.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, sweet. So that's the RMR stuff. We're going to obviously talk more about that when actually, I don't know when we're going to have I guess I'm going to have a travel day to Romania. We'll have to work out when we can fit a show in before that.
Leaking.
There's nothing that says I can't say what events I'm working.
No.
I've also said I'm working Katowice. They haven't announced that shit either. And I'm working Pro League as well.
If you're not working Katowice, that would be a surprise, I have to say.
Yeah. Do you know I've been going to Katowice for the only year I missed of Katowice was 2016. I've gone every year, either as a player or a talent.
I literally went there every single year since 2014.
Fucking crazy, man. It's a decade worth of time.
Like 2 years, even twice, because there was like major qualifiers there.
Yeah.
I know
we have
Katowice went through
the development of Katowice.
Quite literally.
You literally see new buildings, expanding of the Spodek with a new multimedia
like
center. The Indian place, the
Masala House now has another one called Tali House.
Kyoto Sushi, bro, all of it.
And we're still sleeping in the same red and yellow hotel Vienna house. So don't you fucking forget about that.
Philip, the bartender, one of the goats.
Still going.
Actually, one of the goats,
we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves.
He was there already like 10 years ago, man. I remember that guy still.
I remember
so
getting
funny.
Top Gun drunk. So that's how long ago we're talking here, boys.
I was
Oh,
confused. I was thinking about the movie, but I'm like, yeah, that's
I thought
your
like,
teammate.
yeah, I was also wondering like, is Top Gun drunk like some sort of an expression? Like
Yeah,
that's
I
how
thought-
badly
I
drunk.
thought
That's
Wow.
how badly drunk you get. Or...
Don't forget about my ex-teammate, all
No,
right?
of course I know who that is.
I just want to make a little bit of an addendum, an amendment, one of the two. It'll be one of those words. But I remember like a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about like looking through the rule book, and I said I didn't see anything in there about the matches having to be best of 3 or best of 1. That's because I only searched BO1 or BO3. If I had searched best of 3 or best of 1, it clearly says in the rule book, which was pointed out to me by Reet Giata. And they said that it says in the rule book, all elimination and advancement matches are to be best of 3 in Swiss. All other matches are to be best of 1. So there you go.
I mean, just because it's in the rulebook doesn't mean the rulebook can be changed. We saw this happen so many times. Like if there was, I don't think Val would say no if there was a push from the tournament organizer to be, oh, we want to do everything best of 3. I can't promise you this, but that's how changes happened in the rulebook for majors in the past. So
Yeah, I started around best of 3s, like for example for the Berlin major, I think when everybody else didn't and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. Wait, yeah. So that I just wanted to point out because I was talking about what it said in the rule book, and there was that bit at the top that said, not all rules are here in RC tournament or blah, blah, blah. But anyway, sorted that bit out. Okay. Jumping into our next little bit of recent news, IEM Chengdu qualifiers, more Counter-Strike on the menu, another event that Monte's at.
Yeah.
Through the rankings, SDY, this is feeling great. You're getting invites.
This is best feeling actually.
But now
You don't have to trudge through all the
That's
fucking
actually-
open qualifiers and stuff. Yeah.
It was actually crazy.
Well, it's FaZe, Mouse, Virtus Pro, G2, Monte, Complexity, Cloud9, FURIA, and Astralis, all through either being a partner team. So the partner teams are FaZe, Mouse, G2, FURIA, and Astralis. And then through the ESL rankings was VP, Monte, Complexity, and Cloud9. So that's how those teams were able to get their positions there. But there's a bunch of names who qualified. Lin Vision again. So good to see West Melon still kicking on. It would have been a shame just to see them have that one good pro league and then nothing else really. 9Z, they couldn't make it to the RMRs, but I guess they've got Chengdu as something to get excited about. M80, who defeated Liquid.
Yep.
Yes, and I can't wait to talk about Liquid soon. And where are we here? Heroic, they're a partner team as well. I missed them. And Greyhound qualified. So Greyhound have been stacking up a couple of events. This European closed qualifier and an Asian closed qualifier for the last 2 spots.
So like Falcons, Bet Boom, Big, Eternal Fire are playing that. Guild Eagles as well. So some good teams.
I mean, interesting takeaway from this would be that Vitality skipped it, which is I think the second time in a row they skipped something straight after the major. I think we were talking about this last time. Yeah,
we were. I don't blame them, but
NAVI also didn't, which is a curious thing.
I think the thing is because it's a week after the major, though, right? Like it's one of these
it's
things.
like China, straight to China, which is also like, it always fucks people with like jet lag and stuff. So
I think it's Western China, though, right? Chengdu. It's a little bit. You can get closer flights where you don't have to go through Shanghai or anything. So that's going to be something to look out for there. But with an event like this is the one where it starts off best of 1 and then there's just a best of 3, right? And these events can be over really quickly because it's not like done like a championship level event like a Katowice are about to have. This is, the 16 teams and it all happens very, very quickly over there. So look, haven't you been to China much, SDY?
Yeah, I've been to China 2 times. One Shanghai Star Ladder. We did well there in Spirit, and one Chongqing.
Oh, it's
the
for like the
biggest city
QI
in the world.
world.
I remember that it's the biggest city in the world. Chongqing, something like that. Yeah. Sorry for my Chinese, I guess.
No, mine sucks too, mate. I hope I'm saying Chengdu correctly. Like this is one of the things. I've never been to Chengdu before, so I really liked Shanghai when I was there. But but I guess from your perspective, you guys not going to an event like IEM Chengdu, and it's only a week after the major. Does it feel like you're in a different position? Like you have to go to an event like this because now you're getting the invites for it. Like how could you turn it down? Type thing.
Yeah, and also I think the jet lag in China is not that hard that the other side when you go. At least I feel it for me. And 2 times I was there, I don't even feel it. Maybe I were younger. That's also the point. Yeah, but
I have
last,
the exact opposite experience, so I don't know, man.
the last jet lag in USA hit me very hard. Like I got sick so much.
Yeah, I traveling to and from the US always fucks me up big time. That's always a hard one for me. It's just it feels like just such a larger jump in time for some reason, even though that's not the case. All right, well, we'll talk more about Chengdu when we get closer to it. That's still not until after the major. Just want to talk about the teams who are qualifying along the run, and it's been a pretty slow recent news week. So here's a piece of recent news which has just come out yesterday. An interesting one. We know that Astralis were in search of a coach. There was rumors about Exist for a little while. That never came to fruition. We'd never really heard anything more about that. Astralis are a Danish team. There's quite a few Danish coaches out there, or players that could make decent coaches. They got a kid called Ronick behind them right now while they're at Blast. And apparently they've signed Ruggah to be their coach as of April. So he's still going to be with OG through whatever run they can do within the RMRs. Maybe they make it to the major. And this all just seemed to me, especially, and I know that Ruggah's come out and said since, hey, like me missing Blast had nothing to do with this Astralis stuff. But it's pretty crazy timing that he makes that tweet one day and then the next day he's signed to Astralis. So, Striker, I think you have a little bit more information on that though, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, like apparently, like it's not even apparently, like Ruggah didn't even know that it was going to be announced. So like there was no way that he could have like predicted, that this was going to get such a reaction. It kind of got rushed. I feel slightly through a fault of ours because we were literally like about to report on it, and we reported it like 20 minutes before it came out. Because we just like found out that it was going to come out, So I think they just kind of rushed the announcement for one reason or another. But I do have to say that there was definitely a lot of rumors, and I think a lot of it was credible that Exist was kind of very close to joining, but we just fell through because of some individual details that they just couldn't come to agreement on and stuff like that. So there was always a chance that Exist would join this team, but apparently, I mean, just something in the negotiations didn't work out.
Okay. Now, SDY, I want to handball this one to you just for, I suppose, a general reaction. Like the players, you're talking to more people around the scene, on an intimate level about maybe coaches and that type of stuff. Have you heard anything about Ruggah as a coach from any of the players out there?
To be honest, I didn't talk about him at all. And as I understand, he will be coach from April.
Yeah.
Like so, they announce him now.
Yeah, it's interesting, right?
But why?
That's a great question.
I mean, it's a classic Astralis move, right? They approach people before their contract is done because his contract is still active
so
with OG.
They will be safe. Like, okay, they're like saying he's ours. You can stay him, yeah.
Yes.
That's
I mean, it could also be that like they haven't had a coach for a while, and I think it was kind of curious timing that they decided to remove Castle before they actually had somebody locked in for sure. So I don't know if they expected the Exist deal to come through, and that's why they said goodbye to Castle like at the end of last year, and they just expected like early next year they would announce the new coach. But that ended up falling through, and I imagine they just wanted to get this out just because people would be like, why the fuck don't you have a coach for 2-3 months? Like what is happening here?
I mean, also if he signed, then it should be public, right?
I agree with that for sure.
Especially because OG and Astralis are in the same group at Blast. Like there is a lot of things that can go wrong and have gone wrong historically, with these kinds of dealings. So it's better to definitely be transparent about it. So for me, it's even crazy that they would think of not announcing it before this group, and like the idea of Ruggah already being signed for Astralis, but coaching OG against Astralis.
Yeah,
just the fact that could have maybe happened. I'm not saying it would happen, but based on what we know, that just feels...
It would be like Hunden all over again.
It's like we have learned nothing, have we?
What do you think? Astralis will probably not integrate him into the game at all until April.
I think he's gonna come sooner, just like the heroic performance guy came to be the general manager. He's probably gonna be released from his contract, or they're gonna find the solution after some time.
Well, it's unlikely OG make it through the RMRs, right?
I mean, that's another thing as well. But I don't know if ruggah goes through, or even if he plays at or if he's submitted for the RMR, I don't think he can switch teams after that anyway. So he can't come in for the major in any case.
But he can't
Maybe
be
he can be in the
behind
back.
them, but he can. Yeah, he can still
I mean,
contribute.
he can probably still work with them in some way. I don't think there's like anything preventing, like from Valve preventing them from using him in some way. You know, he just can't be submitted after playing. I don't know, at some point deep enough into the major qualifying process. I would have to check like specifically with the rules, you know, but I think once you get far enough, you can't switch teams either as a player or as a coach.
Yeah, it is one of these situations where it would have just been better for all parties if it just like, because the time delay on it all is like, well, what are we fucking doing? Like,
yeah, and it's also like if you're OG, you know, like you have a coach that like, you know, he's not going to stay,
there.
You know, he doesn't want to be there. So it's like, it's always awkward like to deal with these situations, but like, okay, you can play out the major and like have like kind of like a last hurrah, but you can also like just get him out, right? Like if you can get a new coach in time, like you can just get him in time for the RMR, because you can still change the either sub or coach between the RMR and the major, or even between now and the RMR. I think that's the only changes that you can make between stages like of the qualifying. So you can still do that if you want, you know. So like if they find somebody new in time, they could do that. Sure.
But I want to ask a broader question here, and not to do with the signing of April or anything like that, but the signing in general. It's a three-letter word, and anyone can take this because I don't have a fucking answer. Why?
I mean, how many other options did you have?
Three-letter word is also mid.
But this is the thing. What did he do at OG that makes Astralis think that he is going to be a good coach?
He's Danish.
that's a very short resume.
I have an idea about it, maybe.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Maybe Astralis don't need that heavy coach, like structured coach or strict coach. I don't know. They have BlameF, they have device, they understand game pretty well. All the players understand it right now, I guess, in Astralis. So maybe they just need the guy who will help BlameF mostly, and like good to like mental coach or something like that. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
but dealing with personalities a little bit more.
It's interesting overall, because like there were some rumors, and I can't say if this was 100% true, but I heard something about like ruggah moving into more like a GM kind of role in OG. Like that was originally the plan, and I don't know if like Kakafu was supposed to take over like the main coach, but then Kakafu's gone now, and ruggah obviously stayed as the coach. So I don't know like if something fell through there, or if like this was just like a rumor that wasn't 100% accurate or something like that, you know. But there was something like that flying around in the past couple of months. So I'm just curious like what the story is there, because it just feels like some change of plans happened.
It just, to me, the thing is, it's not an exciting signing. Like it's
I mean it's not, but like I am. Like, I don't know what to think about the exit situation, because he's also probably not going to have any like top offers like that anytime soon, because I can't, at least I can't see any team that would get him on at the moment. That's, you know, where he would make sense.
Where it would fit. But this is also the other thing, okay? So hear me out for a second. Why would you sign ruggah now when you're not even going to use him for the major? You're going to use somebody else. Would you just not wait to see the fallout of the major and then see what potential coaches might become available after the major? Wouldn't that have been like a more strategic way of doing things than signing somebody you can't even use for another couple of months, whose resume, let's be honest, is not good. Like his time at North, not good. His time at OG, not good. And I don't hear players saying much about him as a coach. And that's not to say he's not a good coach. I don't know. We can't possibly know. We don't have enough information. Right. But from the outside looking in, it doesn't look like a very good decision.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of roster decisions, it's not like this OG has actually improved at any point in the past like 2 years. Like they've only consistently gone down in terms of the players they've been signing. And this lineup is like just the result of all that, because nobody really wants to join an OG that doesn't have like anybody that's actually proven. You know, they even have like a first-time IGL in Quito, a bunch of like unproven young guys. And it's not like they cannot improve, you know, it's not like they can't be good at any point, but it's just like, obviously they've been going down in terms of salaries and stuff like that, because these are all players that are cheap, I can imagine. So like from all kinds of perspectives, you know, I don't know. I don't know what to think about the move, but I wanted to pose it from like the other side of the coin. Like, let's say, okay, like even if there were better options, you know, like there's like, let's say a Cyclone, you know, from Miles, like that would be obviously somebody who Astralis would go after. And as far as I know, that he did get approached at least by Astralis. You know, he just turned them down. But
He turned
like,
him
why
down,
would you,
really?
why would you? Why? But like, look at this. Look at Astralis's history with coaches in the past. Like ever since Sonic, basically. Like look at their history, because they've gone through. It was like Ave, Trace, Castle. There's somebody I'm missing. There's a fourth one that I'm missing right now.
Hunden?
Well, Hunden was never the coach. He was like main analyst or whatever.
Yeah.
But Hunden was the main strategic guy behind Astralis. So, like, it wasn't Castle at that point, like before he got booted. I feel like I'm missing one coach, but like that's just in the past, 2 years that Astralis have gone through 4 different coaches. Let's say 5 if you include like Ronick now and heading into Ruggah. Like if you're a coach like who's actually has any sort of resume, who has a decent team already, you know, like, why would you even go to Astralis? Like, clearly they're not very good with their coaches.
Okay, that's an interesting angle to look at it from. All right, well, let's leave the Astralis news. I'm sure we'll get to talk more about that in the future. Let's jump forward to another one I might need some help with, boys. This is the, I've labeled it the Aurora Academy shituation. Not situation, shituation. So this got a little bit of traction. The long and the short of it is they were signed and then they weren't signed for the RMR, for the qualifiers. And then the fact they didn't qualify, they're signed again. There was a statement that came out from Aurora and the boss man over there talking about a bunch of lads. I like the vernacular that was being used. I won't be lying with that one. But the lads, they got re-signed to Aurora, and there's a bit of an uproar about this. So what's the long and the short of this? Because they didn't break any rules. They said they checked everything with PGL. What is this a situation, or have we made a little bit too much mud out of this?
Like, I mean, technically, obviously, if it is true that they didn't have contracts, you know, who knows? Like, nobody saw any. No, I didn't see any contracts like that had like an end date before the qualifiers, you know, or if there was just like, okay, they're not on contract anymore. We swear, like, you know, like that type of a situation.
Didn't they say they verified it with PGL though? Which would
I
have
suppose had to... I actually didn't look like very deep into this, but you know, PGL didn't say anything to the contrary, so like I'm inclined to believe that. I mean, on technical side, obviously this was okay. Otherwise, PGL would never have approved of it, right? Because like there's nothing technically preventing them from playing in the same qualifier if they're no longer contracted to the same team. You can consider it a loophole, and it is one. And Aurora were even like, yeah, we did do that. Like, so what? Like, basically, they were like, yeah, but we just wanted to give our guys a chance to play at the major qualifier.
The lads a chance.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, like, I don't know what to think about this. I feel like if you're the academy team, you know, you kind of do want your organization to do something like this just so that like you actually do get the opportunity to play in the qualifiers, you know.
Well, I'm playing devil's...
At the same time, like if you're doing it with the idea that, okay, like once it is possible, you're already going to go back, then it defeats the entire point because the conflict is still there. You're still in some way committed to the organization, you know. So like from a moral perspective, obviously it's not very kosher. But technically that it worked out, you know.
Prof, if I was playing devil's avocado here and I was saying, you like that one?
Devil's avocado.
Devil's avocado. If we're running with that and we're saying, oh no, but this is like the org is giving these youngsters an opportunity, and if they manage to make it through and they were just 5 guys and they could make all this sticker money and they get an opportunity to compete in the bigger stages, is that a good thing or a bad thing, or does it seem nefarious? Where do you stand?
I mean, for me,
scenario?
I think I'm a realist, and the fact is that there's so many shit like this that happens every day that we can't do anything about because there's no like governing body for any of these things. And like the fact that are they signed, were they not signed is very hardly if impossible to verify, right? So it's just kind of a pointless
like
thing
faking
to
contract. Look, like you could just go to the players and say like, hey, can you sign this just so it looks like your contract actually ended a little bit earlier than they did, you know? And then you send that to PGL.
So many ways that can be abused. That's like I can't even... Like in theory, yeah, it's kind of it's shady. It's definitely shady, but at the same time, it's like, what can you do? Who is gonna bother to do something about this, or look into, or have the authority to actually check contracts and make sure that they're proper? Like, and realistically, in tier 4 academy team or whatever, do they even have contracts, or do they just get paid every month on PayPal or some shit like that? There's so much going on that makes everyone so like powerless in these situations. It should not be happening.
Okay, there you go. Now we got a stance.
It should not be happening, but at the same time, in theory, if it is true that their contracts ran out, then not allowing them to compete would be like objectively bad, right? But no one can actually verify what the truth is, so it kind of looks shady, and that's kind of it.
Is this like we're asking for Obama's birth certificate or something? We
Like,
want to make sure.
For me, it happens in like top teams. Like if we have top teams loaning players and not disclosing it, and then these players playing against the team that they're loaned and no one knows about it, then at the major potentially, then why do I fucking care about like Aurora's Academy playing open qualifiers that they're never going to do anything anyway? They're not going to get to the major. So like vroom vroom, you know. I think our priority needs to start at the top, and then if we can like make that work, then we can go deeper. But it feels so impossible, honestly.
Okay. SDY, as a player, did you hear anything about this? Did you even know this was happening?
Yeah, I noticed it. I think it just need to be controlled more by the organizers or something, because it just said that it happens. It shouldn't happen. It's prof said, but you can't do anything about it, I guess.
Okay. All right. Now, someone in chat said to ask about the Monte Academy team, Monte Gen.
Yeah.
Do you know much about those lads? Do you have anything to do with them?
Yeah? I know, like, I don't know the players that much, but we practice against them.
Okay.
Actually, kind of a lot, I can say. And they wrecked us sometimes pretty hard.
Really?
Yeah, they have, I call them Prague gods.
Okay.
No, I'm joking, but they have a very nice coach. I like Ivan. He's also known as Filin before.
Yeah.
He was a player for Pro 100. And he's a smart guy, and they build in it in correct way. They found players for the roles, everybody doing their job, and it seems like they progressing pretty fast, so we're happy to see that.
Didn't he go to Valorant for a while?
I didn't know. I
Yeah.
don't know about it. Actually. Maybe he did. It's take the credit from him a bit, but still.
Striker, we don't talk about the V word around
Sorry.
here, okay,
Sorry,
mate? You know,
sorry.
we're going to keep that
Or
one a
maybe
bit hush
vagina,
hush.
or-
Well, that too, because we're all just a bunch of virgins. All right, well,
That's another
okay.
V word, by the way.
Yeah. Another one we don't.
Also
really
one
use
we
a lot
don't
of.
talk about.
Yeah. Okay, so let's jump forward to our last piece of recent news. I saw this one, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on here?" This says 1.05 mil, and then it says 10 online tournaments that will culminate in a $250,000 LAN in Belgrade, Serbia. And then I had a look, and it's the Res Regional Series, and it's brought to you by Relog and 1xBet to launch this thing. And the reason I bring this recent news, because we sometimes have stuff like this kind of crop up and whatnot, but we've been talking about what the landscape's going to look like for 2025 and beyond. And obviously we're still in partner era at the moment until 2024 comes to its close. But this is what I expect we could have more of popping up. More of these styles of events. Now, this one obviously has an online component to it. SDY, did you see this one? The Res Regional Series?
Actually, I didn't. Let me check up. It's on HLTV?
Yeah, but now that you're getting invited to all the big events, I guess you don't have to play this stuff, right?
I hope so. We will see in a few months, but I hope so.
But this
honestly, I was shocked by the prize pool, because like I got the PR and I was like, it's like 100K and 50K. So I'm like, is this for all of this? Like, no, every EU tournament is 100K, and there's like 6 of them. And then like for Brazilian, Latin American tournaments, like, oh, this is like a serious chunk of change right there. And TBD LAN in Serbia, we heard about these already. Hopefully this one doesn't happen.
CCT, you mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I think it's just like competition to CCT essentially. That is what it is. So like more online stuff that people can play, and I think that's always good to have like more support. I saw some Americans being like, another thing that's not happening in an NA, and we can guess the reason for that is because there's not enough teams playing, and that's it. There's not enough people watching. No one really wants to do stuff if it's not gonna bring any eyeballs, right?
Yeah, and if it's online, I'm just praying for better anti-cheat.
Yeah, well, then what we've just had, right? Because obviously we have a couple of options out there. What anti-cheat does ES Portal, everybody's favorite Spanish matchmaking service, use? Does anyone know? That's a Harry
have
Russell
no
joke
clue.
there. I can't
Okay.
take that one. That's a Harry
Okay,
Russell
okay.
joke. But
I never played esports.
but
7-9.
there's a couple out there, right? So yeah, we'll have to. If it's online Counter-Strike, it'd be good, obviously, for the tier 2, tier 3 circuit. And if any teams want to try and climb the ladder the same way Monte did, that's the type of stuff they should be looking to grind. Okay, that's the end of the recent news. We've got about half an hour left of tonight's show, so let's start sinking our teeth into some more recent Counter-Strike, and maybe we can hear some more of SDY's opinions of some of these teams, because
You want to talk about Liquid? Go.
you want me to start with Liquid?
You've been like waiting to talk about Liquid for an hour and a half. So.
I think I've just been a little bit horny for it because I listened to Zeus's interview today, the one that Node's done, and that one was recorded before they lost to M80 the second time. So I already was
I actually
licking...
found that kind of funny. Like, it's almost a little bit unfair that it's like, you know, he says like, okay, we were 17-1 and people are like shitting on us for not being so convincing,
more dominant.
and then they lose to M80 again. You know, it's like karma. It's that it didn't even have to be released. You know,
that's the thing, because that was for the Chengdu, which would be on Face It. So like, there's no one going, oh yeah, we were dropping out, and I don't think there's any excuses of Yakinda throwing up after maps either. So that one had me a little bit, and I'm not looking for the demise or anything. I really like Zeus. I really like a lot of the guys on Liquid.
I'd also throw up after losing to M80. So.
But that, and again, it's no disrespect to M80. This is the thing. I was in TeamSpeak today with a couple of the boys, and I was kind of going off my tree about it, especially watching them losing to Spirit. I'm like, okay, we know Liquid pays really good salaries, and I'm also aware that they haven't been together for a long period of time, right? And I understand that Counter-Strike takes a long time, and they're coming from all these different schools of Counter-Strike thought. I get all of that. I understand all of these things. But again, like, can I just read the M80 roster out? Like, let me just read the roster out, right? This is the roster. Malbs, he's got a good deagle. Manx, okay? Manx.
Danish guy.
He's
Danish,
from Danish.
but this is the thing.
That's the description, Danish guy.
He couldn't find like a team of a higher caliber in Denmark that he's had to take his services over to America. That's very telling, right?
Exporting.
Right? Slacks. Do we all remember Slacks, the German AWPer?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
Right. Not. I'm not having a crack at the guy, but didn't really make a hugely impressive dent in Europe.
He did get kicked out of Sprout, which also should tell you something, because Sprout is like taking people left and right.
Now Swisher's had some moments. I don't mind a bit of the big swish, right? And Rec, that's the team. Okay, we're comparing this to NAF, part of the Intel Grand Slam winning Liquid. Twists, part of that same team, plus
And the
FaZe,
yeah.
right? We've got Yakinda, who in the last couple of years has been one of the most exciting, like aggressive entry fragger type players. We've got Cadian, the man over the last couple of years who essentially revolutionized the way that CT side Counter-Strike is played with all the proactive and constant moving jigsaw puzzle pieces in our face, right? And then you bring Zeus back into this, who's meant to be someone who's great at dealing with big personalities and everything like that. And they're going and doing all this fucking propaganda out there, singing Kumbaya and holding hands. Now, in the start, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good seeing all that. I thought it was great. I was like, oh yeah, this is cool. But now with like, it's just today watching them losing a map and the series being close. I don't want to see any more holding hands and kumbaya until they like are winning some games.
So you want to see some fucking emotion.
I want to see some head shooting. I want to see some nice Counter-Strike, because I got excited again. I let it happen again. I was like, a team, let's go. They look cool. Let's do it. And then I got Cloud9 Chironicked again. Like, it's like, this is just, it's not. And I know it's early, and I know it's only a group stage, but it's fucking Spirit with Hallie playing. To be fair, Baz played well. Baz had some moments. Good job, young Baz. But yeah, I don't know. It's just sad, man. I'm just a bit sad.
It is weird, you know, because like you hear people like, okay, like the skill gap is narrowing and all that stuff, you know, but it's still like the gap between like M80 and Liquid should still be huge, just on the individual side, you know. And
I reckon like Twist's salary is probably 3 or 4 of their players' salaries combined. Maybe all 5.
Probably all 5.
Maybe all
even,
5.
Yeah. Probably all 5, honestly.
Most likely.
It's just like, I get it's still early, and I'm not counting them out. I just had higher hopes for higher.
I mean, that's
yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying that's like, that's obviously going to be the reaction, even community-wide, just because of the big names that are in Liquid. Like, okay, you can make all the excuses you want about like not be like only being together for a month. It all makes sense. Of course, you're 100% right. Like, you shouldn't have like 100% massive expectations, but you also have to accept when this sort of negativity comes your way when you're losing to teams like this. You know, it's not like they've done super badly so far. I mean, they've done what?
Did you just see Boomich's triple no scope?
Some people are spamming
No.
in chat. I'm waiting for the clip on Twitter.
It's the
It's 10-1.
yeah. Boomich just no scope 3 people in A main.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt.
Any
Like,
clips?
No, that's all right. I wasn't making such
We'll
a
bring
massive
it up.
point
We'll
anyway.
bring it up when
there'll be a clip at some
Yeah,
point.
we can bring up the clip. Like we
Yeah,
can
that
do
was-
like what do you call it?
That was Walden. Live
Like,
react
not
content.
not
yeah.
playcasting.
There we go. I have
Something.
the clip. I have the clip.
All right,
There we go.
Lucas. Bring
Yeah,
it
I
up
wanna see
for the
this.
people at home.
Let's watch it on the big screen.
30 seconds, guys.
30
Counting down. 29, 28, 20. No, but this is good. It means that I can stop ranting about Liquid because I know I'm going too hard. I know it's early. I know they're going to be better. Just kind of disappointing. I thought they were going to be good out the
Yeah,
gates.
yeah.
And
I mean, for
you
sure.
should-
Like it's
should
just
never
too
expect
many
that.
good names like individually for it not to be good. Like
Yeah.
already, you know.
I also think that they should have good chemistry in some time, and they will find the synergy. Like overall, it's good individuals and very nice people. Every one of them is very nice guy. I
Yeah.
say.
they have the personalities are good on that team to kind of mesh together. I just think getting on the same page obviously is the thing that takes time. Here it is for everybody playing at home. It's a little bit pixelated for us in the preview, but this is Big Boom getting it done. AWPing, of course, in the Cloud9 without a primary AWPer. So
I would
it's-
just say like before everybody sees it, this is like stuff only like people like Simple would do.
it's kind of ridiculous, isn't it? It's kind of fucking
Like imagine doing this with an
Oh,
op.
double?
Like doing
Yeah.
this with an op.
Yeah, right. You love to see it. Nice little highlight there from Verge. Well, that's having a blast right now, everybody. That's about to be over real quick because Heroic lost the first map quite convincingly as well. That was their map choice of Mirage. They lost that 13-5, and they're getting absolutely drubbed here on Anubis. So this one might be over really fast. So we'll see how this one. But we are talking about Blast right now. SDY, you're just giving your opinion about Liquid. I tend to agree. Like I think that's why I'm disappointed is because my expectation is high, right?
Right.
But the realistic side of it is it'll probably take them half of the year or at least half of the first season to be in a position. They're probably aiming to like peak by the next major, not by the first major, right? Like that's what I would be looking at as a realistic timeline for them. I don't know what their overall timeline is, but it just, yeah, I think if they were losing to like Vitality in that fashion, it'd be like, oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Like Vitality, the best team in the world. Or if they were losing to FaZe in that fashion. FaZe had a fucking tough time today. FaZe lost to Gamer Legion.
I honestly
today.
think this Liquid, the fact that they managed to win will be huge for them because the comeback that they made was one of those things that kind of builds the character of the team.
But come on, Prof.
definitely
You're against the coach, man.
It doesn't matter. They should have lost. They should have lost. They should have lost. That was a done game. It was.
You don't
done.
feel good about that win.
Towel was in the air, but like someone like grabbed it and pulled it back in.
Okay.
And also imagine on the flip side if they actually did lose to a coach like this. Like it's not even NA, but it's still an NA team to some degree. Like all the hopes and dreams of Canada in this team and losing to Hallie. Is Hallie? Did you play with him?
He was in the
he your
Goat League.
coach?
Machine played with
I
him.
played some faces. with
Oh,
him.
yeah,
No,
But
he
when
was-
That's
was
right,
it
in
he-
Spirit.
he only came after, no?
No, I was there when he came to. The
So is he
Okay.
skilled? Is he a skilled coach or is he?
I can say that he's a tactical coach. He's more
Okay.
about round strategies than overall understanding of the game, probably. But
What about
I,
his face it level?
I think he's 9 or 10 or something like that. He was back then.
Surely he'd have to be a level 10. Like, surely. Like, fuck, man. Surely.
You're saying that as if like surely you have to be a global elite, you know? It's just like
No, he has to be a level 10. There'd be no way. Yeah, I'm looking now. He's a level 10. I was going to be like, mate, I'm a fucking level 10. Of course he's a fucking level. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, it
yeah,
must
but
be.
like a lot of coaches don't really play that.
Yeah,
much,
He's got
right?
3,000
some coaches
elo.
doesn't play at all. But
He's got
he's
3,000
played.
elo. Yeah, he played a bunch
Okay.
recently.
3K is okay. I mean, obviously, now
Yeah,
he knew that
you
he was
have to
gonna.
play.
3K is actually pretty good.
Yeah, so he started playing on the 9th of January, some more FACEIT games, and then the last time before that was in November of last year. So he
Yeah.
only started playing. Okay, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
When they found out about the visa stuff, he's like, "Let's
Yeah.
grind. Let's
I
start
mean,
grinding."
I heard about that quite a long time ago, so I would imagine that's why. I don't know if he played before that. Like I don't have his face thing before, like in front of my eyes. But I think it was like it was flying around for a while that they wouldn't make it.
I think. Look, I think that. I don't know. Let me pose the question to SDY. If you lost to a team with a coach and another stand-in, would it feel like if you just won versus a team with a coach, would it feel like a victory?
It would feel like relief if it did come.
Okay.
Yeah, probably. But I can say that I lost to coach final of the tournament actually. We lost with Spirit ESC MDL finals against FURIA.
Gary.
Yeah, he wrecked us so hard on Vertigo. I remember it till that day. He just ran and destroyed us like 30 bombs or something.
Yes, that's right. I might even remember that game. Holy shit.
It's still better than losing to a stand-in and a coach like G2 did at the final of the summit. Like,
that was crushing, wasn't it? Where Carrigan had to go to the airport or whatever it was because he needed to get a visa sorted for some like event or something
for the ages, man.
Yeah, they looked so crushed after that. I was there at that one. That was fucking crushing to them. Okay, enough on Liquid, but I think the key that we were just talking about there is obviously Spirit missing 2 key players, Magix and Donk, which is a bit of a shame because a lot of the hype is around this Donk kid and just how sick he is. SDY, you out there?
He saved their asses so many times. I saw like 2 of their games in the close qualifier, and it was just like, bro, they were like down like 7-12. It was against somebody good. I don't remember now.
Anubis, yeah, on Anubis.
No, Nuke.
I remember same on Anubis.
Okay.
And the interesting part about Donk, when I watch him playing, like they've been losing like something like 11-9 or 11-8 on Anubis on T side, and he did exactly same thing 4 rounds in a row. 3 of these rounds he died, and then he did the same thing and he won the most important one. He did 4K or something, and he won the game because of it.
Oyago was against Prissy. I watched the game against Prissy, and he like 40 bombed in like an overtime to save them from like the elimination zone, and then they fucked Mouse in the next game, and he was doing really well again. So it's like this kid just plays the same, like no matter what is the situation. Like he's just like, I was watching him like walking around outside and just destroying people. There's like, you're halfway through a round, like there could be people in garage, there could be people on the right, there could be people like on top of silo or whatever. He's literally just like walking outside. It's like he doesn't care what angle he can be peeked from. He'll just go. And it's like, it's crazy to me that this is like something that a 17-year-old kid who's literally been playing on the top.
17 now?
He's 17 now, I think. Yeah.
Oh, he's leveled up.
Yeah, he was to 16 until whatever. Like
HLTV still has him at 16.
He is still 16. Okay.
Yeah, he's a young buck.
I think I got baited.
But he's putting the most craziest number probably I've ever seen, even crazier than Zivu were putting when he was in AAA, or how you name it?
Against All Authority, yeah.
So maybe my prediction of like Donk getting the MVP but still beating like
losing the major,
winning the major, but Donk still beating Zywu to the MVP, man. Imagine if that happens.
Yeah. No, look, build on that for me though a bit, SDY. Is this someone you watch many Donk demos? Or you had many run-ins with Spirit in practice? Like is Donk the truth? Because there's a lot of Donk hype, right? Is it overblown? Is it not high enough? What do you take on Donk?
I think he deserves his credit. He's playing very well, and Spirit give him his opportunities in the game. So they doing it in the right way, the correct way.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, fair enough. And apparently it is Donk's birthday tomorrow, Striker. So there you go. A day late,
okay.
$1 short, or a day early. And
oh yeah, I think so. I got baited by somebody on the forum saying he's 17 now.
You got wrecked. Yeah, but okay. So
I get all my information from there. I'm sorry.
That's me too. All right, let's jump over to Complexity, who finished in last place alongside of OG. They won't be the only team to finish in last place, but right now they've finished 13th to 16th. There'll be 2 more teams coming in from the 2 remaining groups that we have playing out. Now there's still more matches for groups A and B to go. Sorry, A and C to go down. We're currently doing B and D at the moment. Now, Complexity, first CS2 LAN, IEM Sydney. Everything's fucking awesome. Riding the highs. Everyone's looking good. Alesia's playing some great Counter-Strike. The team's fired up. It's looking great. Since then, it's been a bit of a downward slide. So the coal stocks, not only are they being sold, maybe cheap at the moment, Prof. What's going on?
Can't say too much about them. I didn't really pay attention to their games, I have to say. So kind of not too much insight on this. I watched like some of the NIP complexity game, and that was one of the games that like looked super comfortable for complexity, and then you like turn around and do some chores and you come back and it's like, oh, NIP are winning. It's like, what the fuck happened? So I'm not sure how you drop that game and where it goes. I saw JT doing well. He was actually top fragging. I'm looking at the stats now. Like
JT definitely has his moments.
If JT is top, but also like if JT is top fragging, what's going on in this team actually? So I don't know if it's just some ring rust from the break or something like that, but not looking.
Nah, good. Going into the break, they were rough around the edges too. They shut the bed in Atlanta. Right, Atlanta wasn't a good showing for them. They're on a downward slide in a big way. They went from being a team that was on the tip of everyone's tongue, going, "Oh shit, they could be something in CS2," and now I think it's no good. I don't know how to get any more out of them. When you look at this team on SDY, obviously Monte played them in Sydney, and it was that close game. You said it was like a choke, a big choke. Yeah. Do you think they're a top 10 team? They're currently 8th in the world, just behind you guys. Do you think or do you think their rankings maybe a little bit overinflated?
I think they play some really decent Counter-Strike, and they try hard for it. And overall, I like the players. I like the chemistry in the team. And from my POV, they're supposed to win the game against NAVI. It was, I think it was like from my view, it was just some mental things. It was not about the game or how they play it, how they approach it. It's just they didn't feel the way that they can win. If I look at that game, maybe they're just missing on some other parts than actual playing.
But the mental has been an issue for some of these players for a while. I would say.
I'm just looking at the rounds and like that Nubis game, they started 8-4 like first half and then 0 rounds in the second half. Overpass, they started like 5-0 on the T side. You know, these are things that you're looking, okay, this should be good. The same thing against NIP. So they started every map pretty good and then just choked or died essentially.
Yeah, I don't want to like pinpoint a player here and call them out for the losses or anything, because that's definitely not what I'm doing. But I think for me, when I look at the team, obviously Elijah is the one you're looking for the most output, right? And then I think it's got to be in the conversation for Grim or Hauser. But I think both of those two are not consistent enough in delivering. And I think that Hauser has really high peaks and he can be huge in influence in the course of games. But I think that you might need a bit of OC in your life, mate. I don't know if Hauser's the one who's going to save him. I've said this a couple of times. You know, I feel like, you know, you could bring a different AWPer into complexity, someone who's going to bring you a little bit more consistency within that role. Because I think Hauser is great. He gets fired up, but he also tilts real hard. Like, he's one of the bigger tilters that we see out there at the moment. And I don't know how much of in a team that already seems like they have issues with mental, I guess he's not alone in that field within that team. I guess a few of them are tilters. They'll tilt in different ways. But yeah, I just think complexity stocks are plummeting at the moment, which is a bit of a shame because I was excited to see them doing well. Any more complexity comments? Everyone happy?
No.
Okay, all right. Striker, Falcons debut. Did you catch this one on the telly?
I watched part of that game. Wasn't that great, was it?
Nah, could have missed it. Fucking a 13-8 and a 13-3 loss to Astralis. It didn't look pretty at all. It wasn't the best of openings, and then they managed to take down OG in the second game that they played, and that was convincing on Ancient. They won 13-2. Bro, this is the thing. OG in their 2 map choices, right? Because they're eliminated now. They picked Mirage against Vitality. They won a total of 0 rounds. They picked Ancient against Falcons. They won a total of 2 rounds. So across the 2 maps that they picked over 2 series, they won 2 rounds. So that kind of tells you where things are at for OG. But at least Falcons were able to deal with a bad team. So that's a positive. Now they get to play 2 juicy meetups in this group. Man. They played Astralis and now they get to play against Vitality. So at least we get a chance to see how they go again against another, a guaranteed quality team who just had a rough game.
I mean, I think the recovery against OG was pretty nice, especially BOROS was farming, and you can see him. You can see when he gets into the groove. You can see what we saw at the major and with Monte when he was in form. I think like his Falcon stints until now was completely unseen by the average viewer, and me included. Like they didn't really play anything of relevance, and it was interesting to hear even directly from Zonic some stuff about him, about like his lack of
Rocking out late.
professionalism.
Yeah.
Coming up late or not being like, I don't know if this is like half an hour late or just like not being there 5 minutes before to start, that kind of stuff, and not answering quickly enough and stuff like that. So it's interesting that came out super early, and I think this is also. I mean, Zonic's a smart guy. He wouldn't say this if there wasn't like a reason. I think it's also putting some pressure on BOROS to kind of give him that awareness. Like, yeah, everyone knows you did this. You are doing better now, but in case shit happens, people go back to this and be like, okay, this is why BOROS was kicked. If it comes to it, right? So kind of putting some positive pressure on him from the public side. But I think in game they have all been hyping him, telling him like, oh, this is the most skilled guy that we have, so we're gonna give him the space that he wants. That being said, like balancing it about the Madden and BOROS aggression a bit.
Yeah, SDY, we've got the cameras turned off. No one's listening. It's just between us. It's just between you, me, Prof, and Striker right now. Nobody else here. Well, spill the beans, mate. What's the go with BOROS? You played with him. What type of a character is he? What type of personality are we dealing with here, mate?
Yeah, well, first of all, I can say that I love BOROS.
Okay, strong opener.
Yeah, I love the guy. He's very funny. He's have interesting personality. He have his personal interests also. He had problem with discipline, as Zonic mentioned it. Late to practice, whatever, like all of this. But I can say that I like the way how Zonic and Falcons tried to use him. Even the game that they lost to, Astralis, yeah? Yeah, even in that game, he had moments. He had this BOROS pushes when he killed behind 3-4 people. He's taking his moments. He's just making it work in some weird ways. That's the best he can do. So, and I like it. So probably they just need a bit time, and he will fly again, as he did with us. I hope so, at least. And if he can. If they can figure it out together about the discipline moments and how to control him well, because we couldn't find this ways 100%. It was like, I can say it was 70, 80, but he still had this problem. So if they fix it completely, this guy could be top 3 rifler in the world from my perspective, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, from my side, like I'm just waiting for some powers to hit the level that we saw him, like that run of like 5 events in a row, where he looked like such a sick opera, like in the middle of the year, leading up to Cologne, essentially, like they had those, or even to Gamers 8. He had like several events in a row where he was like just dominating people left and right. And then since the switch to CS2, he's dropped off. It's not like he's been bad, but it's just like you can notice that he's not an elite like anymore. It's just like his drop off is noticeable enough that you can't win tournaments like that anymore. And this Falcons team does need him to be that. Like if he's not, then it's not like they don't have firepower, but they do need some players to be like on an elite level for them to win tournaments.
Sure.
So I think that's also something I'm waiting for. Second game was great from him, like in terms of against OG, but of course, like I think it's not an overstatement to say that OG is probably the worst team at the entire tournament. And considering how well Spirit did against Liquid, maybe that's even including them with 2 stand-ins.
Which is crazy.
So which is crazy, yeah. So like, okay, like he can still hit those peaks apparently, but let's see if he can do it against the better teams, because I think that's going to be the key to this Falcons roster.
I did find the statement from the BOROS interview, and he's quite clearly a man of few words. But I did find that I want to remind everyone who I am. I feel like I would have liked that quote a lot more if it was, I want to show everybody who I am. I would have liked that. Like, I want to remind everybody of who I am. It's like, Sure. I don't know if I love that one or not. What
Well,
did you
why?
think of
What's the
that?
difference? Is it like
No, it's like as if like he already proved so much that that like he
Uh,
needs to remind people. You know?
Actually, you might like it or not like it, but the guy is this way. Actually, he just say what he thinks, he do what he thinks he like to do, and
Okay.
overall, it's helping him more than harass any other people around, I guess.
Okay. So carrying that confidence, that walking that fine line of like having an ego and arrogance and all
to
that.
pick the way Boros pick people, you need to have huge confidence.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, you got to give zero fucks and think everyone else on the other side of the server are fucking bots.
how close are you to that confidence now after like this last 4 or 5 months, I would say, of strong form?
I don't think there is people in the world on this level of confidence at all. But I think as in my form, I'm like 100% confident of myself.
Okay. All right. What other early impressions we got here, gentlemen? Obviously, we haven't been able to watch the games that we've been covering off here. So, are there anything else that stands out? So, Vitality have played. They've had they obviously beat OG, which we touched on just before. They lost to Astralis, which is the first time they've lost with Mezzi in the roster, right? So that's I think Gamer Legion beating FaZe today. I was very surprised, so I have to eat a little bit of humble pie here because I perpetually underrate Gamer Legion. When I say underrate, I don't really rate them at all. I don't. I look at the roster and I don't see heavy hitters, but they're another team, I guess, who gets it done as a team.
Same, but like they played pretty well.
Yeah.
And I think you could see FaZe not really. You could see some of the FaZe issues that people kind of make fun of them for, which is like, in my opinion, Brokey. I don't know what his stats were, but some of the rounds that he played were awful, and it was like peak Brokey, getting 2 kills over peaking, dying, and then the round falling apart kind of moments, and whiffing stuff that you shouldn't whiff completely. It's like, okay, what's going on here with Brokey? And then Rob's not really having that much impact, despite obviously, like, not saying he had no impact, but in some rounds, you just needed more from him for them to have a chance in it. And it's just like he was playing it too safe. And then Gamer Legion was just rolling. They had some good executes, played pretty simple, and some of the guys just stepped up when it was needed, and that's it. Like Snacks on Ancient was doing great. Like he was just winning every duel that he's like 50-50. He was gonna win it, and that's it.
Okay. What do you make of Gamer Legion STY? Like I just said, I don't put too much of a high premium on them as a team, but beating FaZe in that fashion is pretty convincing.
Yeah, it's convincing for sure. I remember the moment in Gamer Legion that they had 4 BN horse in the team or something like that. When Neon was in the team, and they changed it. So basically, they don't have star players at all. Even right now, I don't think they have heavy star players. Maybe Acor can hard carry sometimes, and all other players more like role players. They play in the role well, but they not carrying that hard. And I like how the Volt guy trying to fill these shoes. Most of the games that they win, I think he's putting big numbers. And yeah, great job.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they continue through this group. Now, they will take on Liquid, which, with how Liquid played, I would say Gamer Legion have a very good chance of winning that game. So they're in a good position to get themselves through to that group final. So we'll have to wait and see how that one all kind of fizzles out. That one's going to be getting played on Saturday, I do believe. Yeah. Yep. So still a bunch more games to be played. Obviously, Heroic just got dumpstered then by Cloud9. We didn't really get to watch that one because we're here. I was watching some of the Virtus Pro Big series. Big just look like, even the Godby interview, it's like they're just fucking defeated, I think, and not making it to the RMR. It's probably a very, very low moment for them. And just in general, I think it's just been good to have some tier 1 CS back on the television with a bit of, I don't have to go into the Go TV and watch it myself. I can watch a full-on stream. So that's been all right. A bit more on the FaZe stuff. I guess when I was watching today, I was like, is Frozen playing a new position, or did he play that position on Mongolz? And I'm pretty sure he was like the A-rotated kind of mid-type guy on Mongolz as well for Ancient. So he just, I don't know if he looked out of place. I guess he has to do different things. And I think Twists, one of the things with Twists on FaZe that probably didn't get highlighted enough was how selfless he was and how much that he would kind of do to facilitate other players. and certain maps like Inferno, especially players like Rops.
Especially, yeah.
Yeah, right. So I guess that's going to be an adjustment period because Frozen was kind of put in the star, like you are the focal point. You're the guy who's going to close the rounds in Mongolz, whereas he's not going to be that necessarily here on FaZe, and there's probably going to be a bit of an adjustment period of time. Also, Prof, they didn't come to the awards show because they were meant to be preparing.
So I don't see any of that.
Now, what's the excuses, Prof? What what's they should get a massage like Striker. That might help them. Back to the start of the show.
Hook him up, Striker.
Yeah, get him a nice strong massage. All right.
We are 2 hours in already.
Yeah.
Like one last thing I would say is just I was watching a little bit of or not just a little bit. I mean, I was watching the NAVI G2 series. I didn't catch the complexity one, but like I really like how AMS back to having these big games where you can see like the AMA that we saw at the major, and everybody was like, okay, it was just one tournament, like one trick pony, he's never going to come back to that. But actually, since CS2 came out, I mean, it could have something to do with what SDY was saying here about swing as wide as you can to win the duel. He's just had like a bunch of these great games, and he also closed out the one against G2 with like on Anubis. He had like 24-8 or something like that there, and like he was just very obviously the guy who got them through to that series. Like I'm just enjoying the fact that he's kind of proving to people that he wasn't just a one-trick pony, and he's had a few of those games, ever since pretty much the fall final, since they got this roster together. So could also have something to do with the simple departure. Who knows? Whatever it is, it seems like it is working out for him, and I'm glad.
Yeah, and I like watching Wonderful. The more I get to see the kid is great. He's definitely having a whole lot of impact. So starting to become one of those big name players. All right, let's just jump into a quick bit of Katowice conversation. I think we'll just look at the play-in matches because the group stage teams we don't even know who's going to be joining the names that I listed off a little bit earlier in the show. So what we'll do is, Lucas, if I link the bracket in here with SDY, maybe we can go through some of these names and take a look at the list of the play-in teams and predict who's going to be winning what games. That could be something that we could do to then round out the evening because Prof is right. We are 2 hours in. So we'll be shutting things down very shortly. All right. Here it is on your screen. Lucas is he's a day theme user, not a night theme user. He's singing a song from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Dayman, defender of
I was always wondering who's using widescreen tab.
Yeah, right. Fucking psychopaths, mate. It's crazy out there. It's absolutely crazy.
Like 70-80% of all users on the website, but okay.
Really?
It doesn't matter.
I mean, because it's the default, right?
Yeah, this talk a lot about society.
Yeah, that explains the forums, doesn't it, mate? That tells us how we ended up here. Holy shit. Okay, so the teams in attendance for the play-ins are, I'm going to read them off, and then we can go through the matchups. Virtus.pro, Cloud9, FURIA, Apeks, Spirit, Eternal Fire, BetBoom, Gamer Legion, Big, Astralis, the Mongolz, M80, Heroic, ENCE, Rooster, Rebels, Gotta Catch 'Em All. I was doing that in the one of the songs from Pokemon back in the day. Yeah, it was pretty good. Okay, so those are the teams. Okay, matchups. Here we go, SDY. I'll throw you the first one. This is a nice, easy one for you, mate. Cloud9 versus Rebels. Who's winning?
Yeah, Cloud9, obviously. Oh, also, do you know the Rebels team?
They're the ones that people call cheaters, right?
Bad experience against them. Yeah, I think they were cheating, actually.
Yeah. People reckon this Olymp guy cheats. There's so much conversation
like
about
last
cheating
year,
these days.
Like this, there was a conversation like last year about this team. It was like the Permita team. But I mean, this is like 3 out of 5 of the old Permita.
Like Olymp,
team.
SNX, and Casey.
Yeah.
This Casey guy having hard times now. I heard on bootcamp. Online he's god, man. But right now, very hard times.
Okay, all right. We'll keep our eyes on Rebels. The name may be quite fitting. All right, Cloud9 winning that one. Eternal Fire versus BetBoom. That's a curious one.
Let's go with Eternal Fire.
I love Eternal Fire, yeah.
I like Eternal Fires. I really like Wakadia. Obviously, Zentaris is always great to watch. And I like Madra as a leader. I like the pieces there.
I mean, they've been in great form as well. I mean, they went through the close qualifier 3-0, and I think they beat Mouse on the way as well. And they had a pretty good end to the last year. I think they were second at the Power Division tournament, and I think they had like one of the challengers they did well in or something like that. I don't remember now, but like they've had a run. They've had a good run. I mean, they're even number 14 in the ranking, which is like for Eternal Fire. So it's probably their peak, or somewhere close to that.
We played the final on that we won in Jönköping.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
okay.
they playing really well-built Counter-Strike, I can say.
I got to ask one question, SDY, because you play a shitload of Anubis. You know, in the water over near like A, when you're trying to go up and down those fucking ramps, what does it always make a water sound cue?
Yeah.
That's so fucked.
Yeah.
Even
it
when
is.
you're shifting, or
Yeah, even when
But,
it's fucked.
when you go to the water, it always makes the sound.
It's so fucked. They need to fix that.
Doesn't matter what you're doing.
It's so annoying, man. I hate it. It's like, what? Yeah, that's one of the most frustrating things because I play a lot of Anubis, and I'm like, am I doing this wrong? Like, am I fucking this up every time? It's like, nah, okay, it's just a fucking map. They should fix that. All right,
clip it, send it to Valve.
They probably won't fix that shit. All right, here we go. Heroic versus Astralis. This is
Oh,
That will be very interesting match.
spicy meatball, but Heroic just got absolutely shat on.
Based on today, and based on the fact that Astralis like beat Vitality yesterday or whatever it is 2 days ago now, feels like it's not even a question.
Yeah, I think
Like it is
Astralis,
really spicy
isn't it?
matchup because it's
it's
like
also
of the
BO1.
history.
So.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's also Counter-Strike. Anybody can win against anybody, to be honest. You never know.
The problem I see here is like player for player, unless the hunger from Shush and Tessus, who to me seem like two pretty timid, chill dudes, like unless they've got this just fucking fire furnace burning within their belly like the worms from fucking June, that shit real hot, ready to eat stabby, then I don't know. I just think Australia should rock 'em, sock 'em,
I don't know.
robots.
I think you're sleeping on those two. Like, okay, they look like, you know, timid characters or whatever, but I think Tessus can get pretty wild. And I think Shush is also this kind of like shy, but like inside he's got this like confidence about himself, you know, and stuff like that. I think there's something there.
Okay. All right. I know Nertz has that. Nertz is one of these guys when you're talking to him, he comes across as this like really polite, nice guy, which he is. But when he's competing, he really wants to fucking win.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, he doesn't have anything against Astralis, but who knows? Like something from the heroic camp might have like brushed off on him or something.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I mean, definitely based on the results so far, Astralis is still the pick, but I want to see Heroic do better than getting stomped by Cloud9. That's not nice.
Oh, this is an interesting one.
Oh.
ENCE versus Big.
Wow.
Yeah, it will be first match for ENCE, I guess. For New
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's going to be. Oh,
This could be ugly.
This could be really. It could be a rough. Like it might be Vertigo as well. Actually, that could be a. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 9 were
This could
very
be-
good on Vertigo.
Yeah.
But they don't have K now, so he was the best player on their team.
Okay.
This could
All
also be like the match for Polish representation in the tournament, man, because it's like Monte on one side and like 5 guys on the other side, essentially.
Yeah. I'm not hugely excited by that game, to be honest with everybody. It's going to kind of like because the big situation. But let's go, should we go with ENCE? Should we give ENCE the win on this
sure.
one? All right, cool.
Like it's a coin flippy. We have no idea how ENCE will look.
FURIA versus the Mongolz.
That's also interesting match.
That's a historically interesting one because Mongolz eliminated FURIA from last year's play-in.
Oh.
Like this is like 2 out of 5 of that lineup, by the way. Like when they were playing against as IHC, it's just Blitz and Techno who are left from that roster. But there is some history there. It's kind of funny.
What do we think though of the Mongolz, SDY? How do you find this team?
I love watch them playing. Actually, I think they playing no fear Counter-Strike. I can name it like that. Also wide swings, also taking duels, and don't want to take credit for them playing smart. Also, they playing very very smart. You can see how they use utility at some point of the game, especially the late rounds. They like to block late executes with utility. They saving it sometimes and just make it short till the end of the round. So I like Mongolz.
Okay, that's a nice little tidbit right there. All right, who do we think is going to win though? Anyone got a vote they want to throw in the hat here?
Furia's also first game since the break. I'm feeling a Mongolz upset here.
FURIA
again.
have been here in Malta boot camping.
Yeah, I know that, but I don't know.
I'm happy to go with the upset.
Yeah.
Why not? For fun, for shits and giggles. You know, worst case we're wrong. Who cares? It's not life or death. People will just go, "Ha, look at these idiots."
Spirit. Are Spirit gonna have donk here?
Yeah, I mean they've said that the Katowice said they would play, so seems
Okay.
like
Well then, Spirit for sure.
Then Spirit for sure.
Yeah, Spirit for sure. Game of Legion M80. Should I just say M80 because I've been like being kind of negative on them to talk about Liquid, or should I try and Gamer Legion are playing some good Team CS, man.
M80 beat Liquid, and then like Gamer Legion beat FaZe.
Oh shit. Well, actually, we can tell. We can do Counter-Strike maps when Gamer Legion play against Liquid. If Gamer Legion beat Liquid, then they're just as good as M80.
Is just better than M80. Obviously, that's how it goes.
Counter-Strike maps. I feel like Gamer Legion have to be favored. Surely
We can't bet on NA teams. Like that doesn't make sense.
That's true. That is true.
And Virtus Pro
this is like
Rooster,
happening.
this is
I feel so bad for Rooster.
This is something.
I feel really bad. Nedic is putting in numbers. I just want to make sure everyone knows he's from New Zealand. He's not from Australia. That's because I want to give shine to New Zealand. But he's putting up numbers. Like he's the only one doing anything really down.
But like every time they come over, they just get fucked. That's a bit of a problem.
I remember we even played against them not so long ago, and he was putting numbers against us as well.
In official or in
Yeah, but no, it was CS:GO. Still is.
maybe EPL or something.
Yeah, it
probably.
was EPL. We even lost
Oh,
them
that's
up
right.
to them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I think it was crazy. I remember him. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, I don't expect Rooster to really do anything. So
I would love them to do something, but I guess if they play M80, then that's like something where they have some chance to do something. You know, not to win. Don't expect them to win, but you know, maybe it can be a competitive game at least.
yeah, and I just want to see like if Nedic can hold it. I don't like I said, I don't expect a lot from the team. The guy that they used to have before was ADK, who played with them back when they would have played EPL against you. SDY, they now have this other guy playing with them called Rackham. And we just have to keep our eyes. I think most people are surprised not to see Greyhound here, but they didn't play events to get enough points. So Rooster are the ones who get the spot for the play-ins. And then I spoke about it before. I'll quickly just jump into it right now and read out the groups, and then we can get some final words from everybody here, and we can close down for the evening. Okay, the two groups. Group A, FaZe, Falcons, Navi, Complexity. Group B, SDY's group, Vitality, G2, Monte, Mongolz. Seem like actually pretty good groups with those teams there, and the teams we're going to be having coming through. No Liquid at this one. We won't get to see them playing. No Liquid in Chengdu because they lost to M80. So that's a team that you guys are going to have to watch at Blast in the majors. But yeah, Katowice will be kicking off on Tuesday next week. We got the Blast groups to finish for the end of this week. So plenty more Tier 1 LAN Counter-Strike for everybody to watch. And yeah, that's about that.
We didn't ask Monte about Katowice, his expectations or anything. Did we ask that?
Well,
yeah, I told you that. I think about that we want to reach playoff. It's our minimum goal for the tournament.
Yeah, for every tournament, you said. Yeah. Makes sense.
I wanted to ask this question as well. Now, this isn't directed at SDY. This is directed at everybody. Should we use the term reverse sweep for a best of 3?
No.
I don't think so either. We should only use it for a best of 5. This best of 3 and reverse sweep shouldn't go in the same sentence. Do we all agree?
Yeah,
I'm also not a big fan of using that.
Sorry, Striker?
Also, I'm not a big fan of using reverse sweep for best of 3. Also, I don't know what's happening if Lucas is doing that or not.
No, that's all right. I think it's a good bit of fun.
Because the way a best of 3 series goes is you pick a map, the other picks a map, and then it's a decider, right? So it's like
exactly.
If you lose the other team's pick and then win the next 2, it's not like I also don't consider that even that a reverse sweep, you know. So like from that perspective, I've never really liked using that.
Good. I'm glad because I've heard it a couple times. I've seen it written a couple times, and I didn't like it any of those times. I just wanted to see if I was crazy. Turns out
the problem is
insane.
the problem for us is you can't really use reverse sweep at all for anything. I don't know what's going on with my camera. Is Lucas fucking doing that?
I don't know if he is. It's a sick troll. If he is, it's a fucking awesome troll.
We can't really do it for anything. For my cat is eating the plant. That's fun. You can't use that for best of 5 because we've literally had never any big best of 5 reverse sweeps because all the lands they never came to fruition. So we can't use reverse sweep at all in CS apparently.
Yeah. All right. Maybe one day we'll get to use it. All right. Well, SDY, thank you for joining us again here this evening. It's a bit of a shame that your start of your preparations are unable to get underway the way that you would hope for, but it's been great to be able to have you here to talk to us. Is there anything you want to say to the people at home, the fans, any of that good stuff?
Yep. Thank you guys for inviting me. Thanks everybody for support Monte. And remember, guys, that Ukraine's still in war and we need your support all over the world. Much love.
All right. Prof Striker, anything you want to say to the people at home before we say goodbye?
All good.
Okay,
Bye.
all good. Another episode of HLTV Confirmed in the bag. We will be back sometime during Katowice to bring you another episode. We don't know exactly when. Keep your eyes peeled to the social medias. A quick shout out to 22Bet and of course, tradeit.gg. We'll be back next time. Thanks for watching and good night.
Best esports odds. VIP program and a variety of bonuses. Fast and easy withdrawals. Bet on every possible CSGO matching tournament, as well as any other esports game. Only on 22Bet.
You tired of your boring old skins and looking for beautiful new ones? Tradeit.gg is your place to go for easy and secure trades within seconds. Simply pick and choose whatever item you want to trade from Tradeit's huge inventory. Verify the trade on Steam and you're ready. With the lowest fees in the market and a beautiful, easy-to-use UI, Tradeit also offers you the option to instantly sell your items for cash. We accept a wide variety of payment methods. Tradeit.gg is the go-to place whenever you want to try out fancy new skins. Start trading today at Tradeit.gg.